Fantasy Sports Station. The home of Joe Rose with Hollywood, Tobin and Leroy, and Hot Crowder and Solana. South Florida Sports lives here.
Powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys.
Call 1-800-747-FREE.
That's 1-800-747-3733.
In Miami, we go to the beach for a little solcita, and when we want a low price, we go to Pricito de Mayo over at Doral Hyundai. The Marlins endured their fourth loss in a row, losing 7-4 to the Orioles last night. The two play again tonight at 6:40 with Max Meyer getting the start. Hurricanes baseball team opens a 3-game series against Louisville tonight at 7. Knicks took a 2-0 series lead down on the Joel Embiidless 76ers, while the Spurs tied their series at 1, thumping the Timberwolves. Tonight at 7, Cavs Pistons, 9:30, Lakers Thunder. Buffalo Sabres took a 1-0 series lead down in the Montreal Canadiens. Anaheim Ducks tied their series at 1, handling the Vegas Golden Knights. One game tonight at 8 between the Philadelphia Flyers and the Carolina Hurricanes. This weather report is brought to you by Tornado Roofing and Contracting, helping keep your home and family safe when the storms roll in. Visit tornadoroofing.com for your free roof and window estimate. Going to be pretty weather today. I am Dan Day. It's time now for the Joe Rose Show here on 104.3 FM WQAM.
Welcome in here on WQAM. I'm Hollywood. Joe is out today. Dan Day is with us as usual. Good morning, Dan. How you doing in there? You a little more rested today, hopefully.
I feel good today, man. I slept better last night. Maybe an energy drink here, not coffee today, because, sometimes you got to power through. So I feel good.
Very good. And Omar Kelly will be with us as usual. Alex Donno will be with us as usual at some point here. But Dan, we got a few things you and I can go over here before our friends join us. And the Knicks getting a win last night. What a game, man. That thing went back and forth throughout. What was it, 25 times the game changed hands there and down the stretch. That was just a fun game to watch. The Knicks do hold on to win that one. And they took a good shot from the Sixers last night, though. But the Knicks winners go up 2-0 in that series. We got Jaylen Brown of the Celtics. Man, you talk about complaining, Dan. I was just listening to some of his stuff driving in, and it is absolutely wild to listen to these guys after blowing the series the way that they did, to listen to them go on and on about the officiating. And I noticed this last night, and I know that this is kind of a problem in the NBA. I gotta think fans are with me on this one, Dan. Like, watching guys every single time the whistle blows do that stupid thing with their finger where they, the challenge call, whatever that is. Like, I mean, are we really going to do this? Is this how the league is going to be moving forward here? Like, are we going to do this after every call now? We need to make there's got to be something as far as complaining to the officials during the games and the constant, we got a challenge. It has gotten very tough to watch, but to listen to Jaylen Brown blame officials for blowing a series like that, I mean, is that really like the direction you're going to go in, man? You don't maybe blame yourself a little bit. It looks like he kind of took some swipes at Jason Tatum, and those guys always seem like they have something going on between the two of them, but I'm over this whole blaming officials, man.
Yeah, even Draymond Green, of all people, said last night, he's like, sometimes when you lose a game or a series, you have to shut your mouth about blaming the officials because it looks bad, like you're putting the blame everywhere but yourself. And for Draymond Green to say that he thought that Jaylen Brown was out of line, that's saying a lot right there.
Yeah, and bring up Draymond Green. He and Barkley do not seem to get along particularly well. I'm not a huge fan of Draymond Green being on that show because I just found his stuff to be, and we can play some of this later, but he borderline disrespectful. He was going at Barkley, for his his Houston days, and I'm trying to make sure I don't look like you in your Houston days. I was like, Barkley's a Hall of Famer. Draymond Green is not going to be in the Hall of Fame when this is all said. And I can't imagine he's going to be in the Hall of Fame when this is all said and done, right? I mean, am I alone in that? Like, I don't find Draymond Green to be a Hall of Famer. I mean, the guy's certainly a Hall of Fame talker. He's run his mouth for a long time.
But I mean, the NBA lets so many guys in, and their Hall of Fame is in a strip mall in Springfield, Massachusetts. So I could see possibly with the allure and just kind of riding the coattails of Steph Curry that he possibly gets in.
Right. Yeah, that is definitely a possibility there. And it was an interesting conversation, right? He's talking about his team there in Golden State, and they clearly are, as long as Steph Curry's playing, they are going to be one of, if not the most popular team to watch in that league. And, he gave his excuses, Jimmy Butler's going to be hurt and, whatever. But yeah, it was just very interesting watching him on that show. And again, he just does not seem to get along with Barkley. It seems almost disrespectful at this point. Like there's kind of an axe to grind with Draymond Green. I know those two have had a history, though.
Right. And also, Draymond Green, I know it's part of his character to be argumentative, but sometimes his arguments are just, you can tell he's forcing the issue. Like, dude, you can't argue some of these things. It's pretty, if you're, what was it last night? James Harden, you can't have more turnovers than field goals made. No, you can, because he has the ball in his hand. They're like, if you're the best player on the court, no, it's okay. It's okay that you have more turnovers than made field goals. And he was just arguing to argue. And I was like, dude, let it go. And then Barkley won't let up, and he won't let up. And poor Ernie's sitting there like, guys, he even got mad. I was like, stop.
Yeah, wild stuff to watch. But, and then I see Giannis, they're trying to get something done there before the draft. So, hopefully the Heat are in the mix, man. The Heat need to make a splash here if they want to start hanging with all these other teams.
Sunday at 3:00.
Sunday at 3:00.
That's an important one because that's the quote-unquote NBA lottery.
Okay.
And I say quote-unquote because some people think it's rigged.
Joe always screams at me when I say it's rigged, and it was very convenient that the Mavericks happened to win this thing last time around. Maybe can they give the Bucks? Maybe they make their trade, they get Giannis to a nice big market and let the Bucks have one of those top picks.
Well, they also said this, Gilbert Arenas, who,
sure.
He's a hot take machine, but he said the NBA is going to make right the whole Terry Rozier situation and give the Miami Heat a top 3 pick.
Now, I understand the Terry Rozier situation from an arrest standpoint. Like, yes, that was very bad, went very poorly. He stunk as a player, though. Like, that's on you. Yeah. Like, that wasn't, first of all, the Luka thing with Dallas was like, it was just too perfect, right? You trade Luka away, you get Cooper Flag, and all right, maybe even you make that swap. That's okay. And Luka, by the way, sitting on the sidelines in the playoffs, hasn't been able to play. Even Ric Flair took a shot at him. Did you see that? Ric Flair on Twitter was like, go take the needle and get out there and play. I mean, everyone's kind of dogging Luka right now. Maybe he will get back out there. I don't know, Dan. That NBA lottery has always been a little bit fishy to me. I think that's one that people also are with you on that one, that it does get a little fishy. So we'll see how that shakes out, and we'll see. Hey, man, maybe the Heat can make some sort of offer here. I know players are out on vacation. I saw, Kalal Ware was sending out some stuff. Him and Jaime Jaquez are out sailing the seas. So they're out there having a little fun. Davion Mitchell is hopefully in town because he's going to be with us on Friday. So he will be with us at our event that we're going to have over at Tabacone Cigars and Spirits at 6:00 on Friday. So if you're not doing anything, we'd love to see you out there. Dave Hyde is we're going to move Dave Hyde up, Dan. So he's going to join us at 6:20 here this morning. Dave had a funny column that he wrote about the World Cup. I don't know if you caught this, but he was talking about how you can essentially take a trip to some of these countries that are playing in the World Cup down here, and you can do the fan experience in that country to watch the matches, as opposed to what you would pay to go to watch them in person here, which is thousands of dollars. And, look, this is a tough subject because we discussed this a lot on the show. And, I understand that people, I guess, are willing to pay these amounts, right? And that's what the secondary market is only as strong as what people are willing to pay. Now, with that being said, I wish there was a better system where we could put the tickets in the hands of fans as opposed to the hands of people that just want to flip them. And that has, as with everything in this country, has become a big business, right? There are how many different sites right now? StubHub, SeatGeek, Vivid
TickPick.
Seats, TickPick, hell, even Ticketmaster resells. You can resell everywhere, right? And the ticket reselling has become a big business, and you get people now that will wait in these. They have these lottery drawing queue things that they do on Ticketmaster. You'll have people that'll wait just for the sole purpose of getting the tickets to sell them. And so that has become a major business in this country. Hell, StubHub just went public. They're a big public company now, as is Vivid Seats. So, like, these are big companies here. And essentially, Dan, all they are, unless someone has better info than I do, they are just software companies that give you a platform to flip seats, and they make money. Ticketmaster makes money coming and going, right? So Ticketmaster, when you buy the tickets originally, they get the big fee. When you sell the tickets, they get the double fee, right? They get the seller fee, they get the buyer fee on the way back. So Ticketmaster makes out with that stuff. But the StubHubs of the world, Dan, the fees on these sites are brutal. Anyone who's ever bought tickets on the secondary market knows that. So it has become it's become a big business, man. Hey, we got people camping outside of Walmarts and Targets to grab restocks of Pokemon cards and the new Topps Chrome products, and just to flip them, right? Just to flip them to make a few bucks, and that has become a legitimate business for a lot of people here, man. It's kind of frustrating, but Dan, I know you go to a lot of shows, and you see the ticket prices for a lot of these things, and yeah, unfortunately, man, if you're not getting in there early, sometimes you might not be getting in at all. Now, I know FIFA had some lower price tickets for their World Cup, like they had a very few. Most of their tickets have been very expensive, but unfortunately, these events are just not going to be for people that aren't working for big companies, Dan, unless you want to sit way up top in the nosebleeds and spend a fortune.
Even that. Look, the cheapest ticket for the USA-Paraguay match in Los Angeles, that's the first U.S. men's national team, starts at around $4,100. That's the cheapest ticket. But contrary, they said that 3 markets in all of North America that have not been kind of suffering is Miami, New York, and LA. They say everywhere else kind of been a little lethargic. Like you said, some of the ticket prices might go down, and there's a multitude of reasons for that. Pricing, one of them. I'm not going to get into the political side of it, but they're saying that this World Cup is maybe starting to lose some of its momentum, but you got to figure in the end, there's so many rich people in this world that those rich people are going to find a way to get themselves into those games and pay high prices.
Yeah, so that's where the tickets sit at the moment here, Dan. But I don't know how many people are trying to go to this thing. I did think this was very, very funny here. The FIFA president, did you see what he had to say? He said we have 25% of the group stage tickets, which can be bought for less than $300, which I don't know really where any of those tickets are. But he goes on to say you cannot go to watch in the U.S. a college game, not even speaking about a top professional game of a certain level, for less than $300. And this is the World Cup. If you're going to say stuff, and I know this guy doesn't care, right? And he's going to go on, and we'll talk to Dave Hyde about this, about how they run a non-profit. FIFA is a non-profit. Yeah, I know. Apparently they're a non-profit. I don't know what college game you're going to where you can't get in for under $300. I mean, I basically all the playoff games, for the most part, I know that a lot of the games you could get in very cheap on the secondary market right before some of the games had started. They were going over the prices yesterday, but not going to be a Canes game at Hard Rock Stadium this upcoming season that you're not going to be able to get into for under $300. I mean, come on, like I don't know where they're getting these numbers from, but Dan, $300. $300 is a lot of money to go to a game. I don't care what the game is. That is a lot of money to go to a game. I mean, I've only spent something like that to go to a game, I want to say, once in my life. And that was to go to the Panthers, one of the final games. I actually bought someone's tickets, a friend of mine who has season tickets, so we got tickets for a really good price. But that's about the max I would ever spend to go to something, and I know people spend a lot of money to go to stuff, but that's a lot right there, at least to me.
Yeah, the
To
most I ever
$300.
spent on a college football game, it was a Labor Day weekend, opening weekend, LSU versus UCLA at the Rose Bowl. So it was a trip out to LA. Spent $108 on a ticket, and I thought, oh man, why? Well, I guess I'm here. So for him to say that you can't get into a college game for under $300, come on, man, come
Yeah,
on.
right. Someone said they let you into some of these games. I guess they let you in for free. Yeah, I mean, you go to like some of the smaller schools. Like I went to a game a couple years ago back in Tampa, and we sat in this club that I kid you not, served lobster during the game, and we did not spend $100. It wasn't $100 to sit in there. It's yeah, but the World Cup, I guess, is for certain people, and hopefully those people enjoy it. I don't really care about the World Cup, Dan. I don't, I'm not a huge soccer fan to begin with. But whatever. If I'm gonna go see soccer, I'll just go see Messi play at the new stadium at some point, which I would like to do eventually here. All right. Dave Hyde is going to join us here when we come back. Alex Donno will be with us this morning. Omar Kelly will be with us at some point this morning as well. So we have plenty more to get to. Oh, and now Ross Tucker, by the way, Westwood One, CBS NFL analyst. He will join us in the 8 o'clock hour. So we'll talk some football as well. But Dave Hyde will join us when we continue on here on QAM.
Good time if you're a truck person and you're looking for a certain kind of truck, whatever it is, full-time truck because you're
AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com.
Traffic on WQAM is sponsored by Lex.
This report is brought to you by the Casino at Dania Beach. Come rock with Quiet Riot at Stage 954 May 30th. The Casino at Dania Beach has it all. Enjoy new exciting promotions, the hottest slots, great shows, multiple dining options, live poker, and simulcast. Plus, new members can win up to $5,000 in free play. Join the fun at the Casino at Dania Beach.
Cool ways to listen to us.
Okay, I'd like to hear them then.
On FM 104.3 or on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, or TuneIn apps. Same great shows, same great games. Plus, you can use the rewind feature and listen to anything you missed. Go for it.
Purple hat, cheetah print, dancing on the people, rolled up at the after joint, dancing on the people dancing on the people.
All right, welcome back in here on WQAM. We are going to head out to the Toyota of Hollywood Hotline Shop. Over 2,000 Toyotas on sale. One location, Toyota of Hollywood on 441 between Hollywood and Sheridan, where we are joined by our friend Dave Hyde from the South Florida Sun Sentinel. Dave, good morning. Thank you for taking the time. How you doing?
Morning, guys. Up early, huh? Joe, I talked to Joe yesterday. He did not sound good. So I'm glad you're helping him out here.
Yeah, I think he's fighting the bronchitis here. That's the throat thing, right? Is that that's where that gets you, right?
I know his pipes didn't sound good,
No.
so it makes sense it was that.
Yeah. Well, Dave, I wanted to discuss what you had written here. And I like any of the stuff that has to do with, the business of sports. And you wrote about the World Cup, which is coming to town. And we have discussed a few times on this show the crazy prices that this thing is commanding. I like your idea of taking a vacation to the host countries and instead of just go to the games here. Now, I got to tell you this, Dave. I actually coincidentally here just got my passport in the mail. I'm 40 years old. I never had a passport.
Wow.
So I may, this is actually pretty enticing what you've come up with here.
Yeah, instead of paying $4,200 for Colombia against Portugal, go to either of those countries. You can, for half the price, you can spend a few days, watch the game in a bar with real fans, and have a good time. So I'd like to someone set up a travel company, and take everybody on tours like that. You should head that up, Danny. Now that you got your passport.
I may have to, Dave. You're you're a big soccer fan. I know that.
Yeah.
What is the equivalent? Like, what is the American equivalent? Because the problem for me with the World Cup is there's a million games. And even if you do get a cheaper ticket, you're going to be seeing countries that you probably don't care a whole lot about. Like, so you don't want to spend Super Bowl prices to go to a one-off match here. What would be the American equivalent to something like this?
Well, the equivalent would be the, March Madness, all happens in a month and a lot of games. But, it's not the world and it's not crazy. I assume, I don't know what you're paying to go to the NCAA tournament, but it's not $4,000 for the opening round game, which is basically what you're paying here. Now you could go to Uruguay and Saudi Arabia, which is at Hard Rock the first game, and I think it was like $400 to go to that. So, there is a get off my lawn quality whenever you talk about ticket prices, because, but I guess the equivalent idea here is sort of Super Bowls, which is they're not really made for the common people anymore. They're for rich. That's why, when Steve Ross said the Super Bowl wouldn't come in here, I don't think anybody really cared that much. Most people, businesses cared, but like the World Cup, it's for rich people for the most part.
Yeah, which is kind of a shame, as you mentioned some of those smaller matches. And Dave, is this is this the bucket list deal though? Like, if you're a soccer fan, like, do you have to get to one of these matches? Is it like to say, I've been there type of thing?
I covered 10 Olympics, and I people were like that. I got to go to an Olympics, and so they'd go to the 185-pound weightlifting. And I'm like, just to say you go to the Olympics, you go to an event you really don't care about. And I guess it'd be the same here. Unless you're a Uruguayan or a Saudi Arabian fan, are you really interested in that match? Do you really need to check that box off your bucket list that you went to World Cup? Maybe, I'm not judging fans, but how many people are going to be like that? So, I was actually in college when I was in Italy, and Italy won the World Cup. It was summer. I was backpacking through Europe and happened to be there. I didn't know anything about the World Cup at the time, but it is a monumentous event when a country wins a World Cup. So I get it. But I just think there are limits to, unless you're a soccer fan or a World Cup fan fanatic, then just saying you went to a game doesn't appeal to me.
Dave, you got me thinking now. I'm curious. I'm guessing you've covered every major event in our country. I know you've been to a lot of soccer matches around the world, and you mentioned Olympics. Like, what are the bucket list events that you would recommend to people? Like, what do you think people should see? We were talking about, getting out to Augusta to see the Masters, or something like that. Like, what stands out as some of the greatest things you've been to?
Well, covering it, the Olympics are great because I'd wake up every morning and I'd look at the schedule, and there'd be 20 events going on, and I'd say, what do I want to go to? So that was different, but single events, Wimbledon is at the top of the list. Masters, as you mentioned, just because those are throwback events, and they have their own signature on how sports should be run. Masters, you walk in, and if you're bringing in a can of soda, they'll take it from you, pour it into a green Masters paper cup, and because you're not allowed to have basically anything from the modern world on the golf course. So those would be the first two that come to mind. Trying to think what else. Then you have like going to a game at Fenway or Wrigley if you've never done that. Would probably come close just from the atmosphere. They have their own signature on sports and a day at the park. So those are things I'm looking for.
Dave Hyde from the Sun Sentinel here with us. Dave, you cover it all, and I know you had some stuff on the Marlins a couple of days ago. The Marlins are struggling a little bit right now. 4 straight. They are down to 16-21 here on the season. I guess the goal for a Marlins team like this is to kind of stick around 500, right? That would probably be, I guess, their ceiling, right? And, I don't know where we go from here, Dave. Is that just kind of going to be the cycle of what this team is? Let's try to get to 500?
For this year, I think it is, yeah. Now they're bringing up their number one prospect, Robbie Snelling, on Friday to start. And I think the last 4 games they've had guys make their debuts, and there'll be another one Friday. So it sort of tells you things haven't gone quite the way they expected. And the odd part is the guys they've invested nothing in, from Otto Lopez to Liam Hicks, are having great years. A few others that show, okay, man, they can go out and find diamonds in the rough. But the guys they've traded for, like Agustin Ramirez, they traded, he was in the Jazz Chisholm trade, just aren't panning out. So, I mean, the odd part is I think they were minus 88 in run differential last year, which, you shouldn't be close to 500 when you're that. And they were 79. They won, I think, 78, 79 games. This year, they're, a few days ago when I looked, they were minus 1. And they were right at, now they're they're slipping. They're 4 games below 4 or 5 below 500.
Mm-hmm.
And, they didn't get good outings from their top 2 pitchers the last 2 nights. And that's what they have to have.
Yeah, Braves have damn near won the division here with about 40 games in. Got 2 more for you here, Dave. I want to start with the University of Miami and Dan Radakovich. He is out as athletic director. You wrote that he redefined athletic director at the University of Miami. Listen, he clearly oversaw a renaissance in that program, and you look at the success of basketball, of football, and he was there for that. What are your thoughts about him leaving?
Well, look, he's a man of integrity, and they went out when they were looking for someone and got probably the best guy in the market. Him coming from Clemson, and he had ties here and all that. But really, the redefining of it was the idea that Miami's redefining the athletic director position. They have a core of people who make decisions, from the president to the Moss brothers, Manny Cadre. That's the inner core of guys who they hired. Mario Cristobal, they hired. They saw the turnaround of the basketball program, and the AD was. I don't want to say he didn't have a voice, but he didn't have much of a voice in those type of hires. So Miami, when they go out, you have to think this is not the traditional AD. Just like NIL is changing college sports, and some of the things that you traditionally or conventionally have looked at college sports. So I think the AD's role is changing too, especially a school like Miami, where, let's face it, the president's very involved and very successfully involved lately.
And Dave, I'll leave you on this one. I know you've been talking about the Dolphins with their single game tickets are out before the schedule comes out. We're expecting a schedule soon here. What can fans expect to see when the schedule gets put together here and this team finally takes the field, Dave? We've been talking about this a lot this week, and I know places like ESPN have them as the worst team in football. Is it going to be that bad? Can they surprise some people? What are your early thoughts on this Dolphin team?
My early thoughts are they're going to lose games, if things work out, 34-31. I mean, their offense should be pretty good when you look at it. Their line should be very good. And when's the last time we could say that? How good is Malik Willis? That's really, like with a lot of teams, that's the question. He can elevate a marginal receiver core. But you got Devon Achane, you got a great line. You're obviously drafting for a system when you draft a really good blocking tight end. So they should be a power running team. And you have to go back to 2016, the second half when Jay Ajayi did that. But you go to the other side, I don't know how they're going to stop anybody. I guess maybe Jeff Hafley has some magical schemes, but their best cornerback's probably the rookie cornerback coming in who hasn't played. They don't have any edge rushers to speak of. Safeties are a question mark. They got very good linebackers though. So my idea going in is they're going to score points, but they're going to lose a lot of games.
Well, Dave, I got to tell you, I can't wait till we get practice going and training camp going, and you get to sit up there with you and Joe and Bo, and usually me and Kyle Krabs just sit right in the front and listen to you guys. I know these practices are not going to be as new school as they were with Mike, so. But
I think they'll actually have some harder practices. I would imagine, at least as defined by this year as harder practice, as opposed to. Will they run sprints after practice this time? That'll be interesting to see.
The less friendly Dolphins, yeah. Dave, thank you for taking the time this morning. Appreciate it. Good to talk with you.
All right, Danny.
All right, Dave Hyde from the Sun Sentinel, kind enough to join us here this morning. We got a lot more to get to. We'll continue on QAM after this.
Don't go away, because Baptist Health South Florida
report is brought to you by the Casino at Dania Beach, Florida's Turnpike and northbound. There's an accident right before mile marker 50 affecting two of those right lanes. Also, that backup along I-95. An accident as you approach that ramp to Oakland Park Boulevard affecting the off-ramp right lane, and also dealing with a little bit of backup on I-95 northbound. Emergency crews sit at Hillsborough Boulevard, blocking your left lane. That's traffic. I'm Alia Escobar on FM 104.3, and you can listen to WQAM on the Odyssey iHeartRadio and TuneIn app.
Your favorite shows, the games of your favorite South Florida teams. We've got them
right here on the Q, baby.
Catch us on FM 104.3 or listen to WQAM on the Odyssey iHeartRadio or TuneIn apps. Don't miss a thing.
I took her out. It was a Friday night. I woke alone to get the feeling right. We started making out and she took off my pants, but then I turned on the TV, and that's about the time she walked away from me. Nobody likes you when you're 23.
Yeah, welcome back in here on this Thursday morning on QAM. Omar Kelly is with us now. Dan Day, I'm Hollywood. Jamie's out there somewhere, by the way. I'm going to have to see if Jamie surfaces at some point here. Omar, good morning, man. How you doing?
I'm all right, Joe. I'm sorry, not Joe.
You're not doing very well. You're all right. You called me Joe. So you're off to a rough start. Thank you to Dave Hyde, by the way, for stopping by with us here and getting his take. Did you see this, Omar? Dave was talking about with the Dolphins, I guess, put their individual game tickets on sale before the scheduled dates actually come out. I don't know who's buying Dolphins tickets at this point. But you know,
what's
I guess visiting fans maybe, but
what's the big deal?
Well, they were saying that like it gives the fans of the visiting teams kind of an opportunity to get on the tickets early. I don't know that it matters. Like I don't know, the Dolphins may not sell out a lot of games this year. That could be an issue.
I would think they would be a surprise if they sold out any games this year.
Wow. Well, some of the teams coming in will bring their fair share of fans.
Yeah,
but
Buffalo loves to come down here for they love to escape the weather, the Buffalo climate, and come down here to South Florida, especially if it's in December, and then they take over South Beach and Fort Lauderdale. It's it's like an infestation.
Now, will you be covering this World Cup deal here? Because I talked about that a bunch with Dave too, and Dave was talking about how it's probably cheaper to fly to some of those countries and spend a few days than it is to go to one of the matches here. Will you be covering the World Cup? Do you care about the World Cup?
Funny enough, I don't care about the World Cup. I did not plan to cover it. However, it seems as if I will be attending. My brother actually got tickets and wants it to be a family event for me and my father.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. So
I didn't know you cared about soccer like that.
I don't, but this is my brother, probably the coolest thing he's ever done for us. And
it's a pretty cool thing to do. So
absolutely, it's an amazing thing to do. I don't know if I'm worthy, and to be honest with you, I'm not sure I would appreciate it. I appreciate it, but I will attend. I have no idea.
I'm sure there's a soccer fan out there who will take your place should you deem yourself not worthy. By the way, someone on our chat just asked, said heading to that hellhole tonight for my kids' hockey. Where do I go for wings? I think he's talking about Buffalo. Isn't the Anchor Bar is the spot out there, right?
Yeah, Anchor Bar.
Or is that the tour? Is that too touristy for you?
No, Anchor Bar is a little touristy. I think I forgot. There's another place that's I could get you the name of it real quick. That's better than Anchor Bar. But yeah, wings are.
You track that down and let this guy know. We had NBA playoffs last night. I watched that Knicks game from start to finish. Very entertaining game. The Knicks hold on. That one went back and forth. No Embiid for Philly as that series heads back for a Friday, Sunday in Philly. So we'll see if the Sixers can get a couple there. The Spurs blew out the Timberwolves. T-Wolves went into that game essentially. I think they were just happy to get game one, and they laid an egg last night. But the Spurs even that series at 1 game apiece. And Omar, something came across the desk last night that I found very interesting, and some of the college basketball coaches saying that college basketball was the second highest paying league in sports. There are some teams now. I know that's probably not accurate, but there are some teams that are spending upwards. It looks like $15 million to put these college basketball teams together.
Yeah.
This all goes to what we've been talking about with, the expansion of the college football playoff. And we'll get Donno's take on this too coming up here. But the expansion of the college football playoff, it looks like the expansion of the college basketball tournament is done. You've been covering pro and college sports for a long time. Is there some point where this comes to a head where we decide, hey, we actually need some rules. We need a salary cap. We need something. And somebody asked me, we were talking about this the other night. Someone asked me, they go, what are the rules as far as paying players? And I said, well, I don't know that there are any. There's Mark Cuban came out the other day and said he paid for Fernando Mendoza over at Indiana. What do you do? Like, how do you compete with that if you have Mark Cuban funding quarterbacks at your school? And, I know a lot of these schools, like not a lot of them. I guess there's probably 25 schools, 30 schools maybe that are in this arms race. You look at the top 25 from last year. I mean, there are not a lot of schools that I think can compete realistically at this level where you got, the money they're putting into football and basketball, because that's what's going to come down to nowadays, right? It's going to come down to money. And I think with all things being equal to a lot of these schools, Omar, you're going to look to see, hey, where can I get the most money? But the question becomes, at some point, do we get some kind of rules? Does this ever come to a head here?
You know what? The funny thing is, I heard Kirby Smart address this topic. And funny enough, he used the example of the University of Miami, how they are willing and able to pay the best players, and it's an equalizer. And I thought to myself, man, somebody from the SEC calling out Miami, that's grand.
Yeah, right.
The SEC had been, living this way and cheating this way for decades. But I think this is just above board now. It's not hidden. It's not regulated, but it wasn't regulated before either. It was hidden. At some point, there has to be a players' union that's formulated for amateur athletes, even though they're not really amateurs anymore because they're getting paid. I heard Coach L yesterday on Hockman and Crowder talking about how this is the recruitment of international players and how it's impacting high school players, and just how coaches are assembling and paying for and buying teams as opposed to recruitment and development. At some point, we're going to get to the point where it becomes problematic. And I think that's when we start selling our college programs to hedge fund companies.
We already have. I mean, the Big 12 has already started with the private investment stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I think when the majority of schools and programs are doing that, I think then we'll get to the point where there's a need for regulations, because you don't have full control anymore. Right now, we can pretend like this is still about education. What happens when everybody has been privatized and sold? Then you can't pretend it's about education. Then you have to pretend it's really about money, which is what college athletics is. At least the college athletics programs that actually make money, which is men's basketball, football and
men's basketball is losing money everywhere.
That's a good question, Omar. When was the last time you heard a player suspended over grades? Remember years ago, you used to hear, oh, can't play because of grades. Now I have not heard that in years.
I can tell you as a fact that the players do have to continue to go to class.
I'm not saying they don't.
That is the thing. Now, yes, I have not heard a player get suspended for grades.
You're right. I haven't heard a long time about somebody being academically ineligible.
That was the term. That's right. That was the term, academically ineligible.
Or a coach sitting a guy for a couple of games because he was, falling behind in his classwork. When's that happen?
Yeah, I'm guessing those days might be in the past, but guys, look, Omar, I think it's interesting too. Like the role of the college coach has changed over the years too, and I think that's why you see it. We've seen a lot in basketball, right? We've seen a lot of the old school coaches, the Coach L's and Coach K's and guys like that who just said that this is not for me. Like I just want to coach, I just want to teach. I don't want to deal with the I don't want to deal with the business.
Nick Saban didn't want to deal with having a salary cap.
Yeah, well, Nick is a little bit fraudulent, tad bit fraudulent, but the role of the coach has changed.
I don't know if I can sit here and say that the role of the coach has changed, because it was always about L's and wins and losses, and just like it changed with the times, just like back in the day 10 years ago, NFL coaches got 4 years to sort of cement themselves, establish themselves, show whether or not they're winners. At this point, if you get 3 years, you're lucky. Some coaches get fired after 2. Hell, coaches get fired after 1.
Pete Carroll, legend in the game.
Yeah. So it's funny you use Pete Carroll, great example of a coach that got fired after 1. So changes with the times, and the same thing with college basketball programs. Who would have expected the University of Miami to win and turn it around in absolutely one season? But this shows you what the power of great recruiting and hiring a great recruiter can do for your program, or aligning yourself with being a sneaker school that feeds the pipeline, and it's all about money. It's all about the bottom dollar at this point.
It is. Now, listen, I do want to say as well that there is certainly an art to putting together a roster, right? And it's not just about buying the best players. Like, I think you can see the way that, a guy like Jay Lucas put together his roster for his first season, right? The guy had to build an entire team from scratch, which you think about that is in college basketball is insane. And then even more insane to be as good as they were in his first year as a head coach. He puts the entire thing together from scratch. But if you don't get players that work, and you don't get guys that have the right attitude, that's the other problem too, especially in college basketball, right? Because you could have a couple of bad eggs on your team that can absolutely take a blowtorch to your entire thing, right? And just and can ruin it. And I think you saw it with some of the guys that were late with Coach L. There was just some guys there that just didn't buy in and did not want to be part of the process. And, I think Coach Lucas got a group of guys that all bought in together and bought into his vision. And that's why it was so successful, and it will continue to be successful. We got Alex Donno, speaking of successful, is going to stop by with us coming up. I think he's going to be with us at 7 o'clock here. Ross Tucker, we'll talk some NFL with him at 8 o'clock. And Omar, we'll jump into some NFL stuff with you as well. I got to tell you, man, this Mike Vrabel story, they keep coming out with more and more stuff. And I know we've talked a lot about it, here on the show and whatnot, but I'm starting to feel a little bit dirty reading some of this stuff. And I'm starting to get to a point where I just I feel really bad for the families, because this thing is just not pretty right now. Did you see some of that stuff that came out yesterday?
About
that story.
The
boat. Well, we'll get into. I mean, we could discuss when we come back. But I to be honest, man, I'm getting to the point where I really do feel bad for the families here. That little click noise you heard was Alex Donno jumping in. So we're going to take a pause. We'll get back to the 7 o'clock hour. Donno joins us. Omar Kelly is with us. Dan Day is here. Jamie is here. I'm Hollywood. 7 o'clock hours next on QAM.
Hey, Melissa, Chill Zone, thank you so much.
Team.
ZipRecruiter.
This is WQAM-FM and HD1 Miramar, Miami, Fort Lauderdale. WQAM-AM Miami, an Odyssey sports station. Home of the five-time national champion Miami Hurricanes, the back-to-back Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers, the three-time NBA champion Miami Heat, Miami Hurricanes basketball, and now the new home of the two-time World Series winner Miami Marlins.
Powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys.
Call 1-800-747-FREE.
That's 1-800-747-3733.
In Miami, we go to the beach for a little solcita, and when we want a low price, we know you pay less with your Pricito de Mayo at Doral Hyundai. The Marlins endured their fourth loss in a row following last night's 7-4 to the Orioles. The two play again today at 6:40 with Max Meyer taking the bump. The Hurricanes baseball team opened a 3-game series against Louisville tonight at 7. Knicks took a 2-0 series lead, downing the Joel Embiid-less 76ers, while the Spurs tied their series at 1 by thumping the Timberwolves tonight at 7. Cavs Pistons, then at 9:30, Lakers Thunder. Buffalo Sabres took a 1-0 series lead, defeating Montreal Canadiens 4-2. Anaheim Ducks tied their series at 1, handling the Las Vegas Golden Knights. Tonight at 8, Philadelphia Flyers and Carolina Hurricanes. And Sports Illustrated's way too early college football rankings has the Canes 4th, behind Notre Dame, Oregon, and Ohio State. This weather report is brought to you by Tornado Roofing and Contracting, helping keep your home and family safe when the storms roll in. Visit tornadoroofing.com for your free roof and window estimate. Going to be sunny the next couple of days, although Sunday could be a little bit cloudy with a chance of rain. I am Dan Day. Now back to the Joe Rose Show here on 104.3 FM, WQAM.
Welcome back in here on QAM. Hope everyone's having a great start to their Thursday morning. Donno is with us now. Good morning, Donno. How you doing, man? Good to have you again.
Hey, guys. I'm glad to be here. Man, Omar's jamming up there. I like it.
Yeah,
Wake
there's
me
no
up this
doubt.
morning, Omar.
Listen, if you play me Gwen Stefani, that's like one of the few artists that like I rock with everything she does.
You know, she just opened up at the Sphere last night. I think it was last night was
Really?
the first show, if I'm not mistaken.
She's doing a residency?
Yeah, they no doubt has a residency at the Sphere, which if you have not gone to the Sphere, it is very cool. That is one place I would recommend people check out at some point. It's your favorite show over there.
I love the concept of the residencies, and I know a lot of artists do it. Drake does it. I think New Edition has a residency in Vegas.
Oh, I want to see that.
I would tell you that I want to see that. Like it had always been my dream to see New Edition perform all together, everybody, including Bobby, and they have the show.
I remember a couple years ago on New Year's Eve, they like reunited. I was watching them on like the Dick Clark thing or Ryan Seacrest, whatever. I'm like, New Edition.
They've had like 7-8 reunions. I think they're on their like third Vegas residency. I get it. They are one of the greatest groups of all time. They created boy band culture. You know, basically they were the blueprint for all that stuff. But I did see them all together, and it was a hot mess. And it was a hot mess mainly because my favorite of the group, which is Bobby, was a hot mess. And didn't know the steps routines, and and then I realized, like, watching that performance, I realized why they broke up.
Well, that is the tough thing about that is they have choreography, and when they're getting a little older and there's some substances involved, that's not a great mix for that.
Yeah.
Well, that voice you're hearing is Alex Donno, the host of the Locked On Canes podcast. Omar Kelly from the Miami Herald is here with us. I'm Hollywood. Dan Day is here as well. And, gentlemen, we do have a lot to get to. Ross Tucker will join us, by the way, at 8 o'clock. We'll get into some NFL headlines with him. And we have he's got something he's promoting. Mother's Day is coming up this Sunday. I don't know if everyone is aware of that. I found that out yesterday.
Yeah. You found out yesterday. It's only been on the schedule all year.
I know it's been on the schedule all year, but these things tend to creep up on you. And I don't want to end up the guy who is, shopping the drugstore or hitting target at 7 a.m. on Sunday morning. So hopefully, this is enough notice for people now. They can get out and get whatever it is they need to get and take care of that day, because that's an important one, man. Yeah, make sure you get mom taken care of here and get some nice gifts. Or
Mom,
I don't know if you guys are
wife.
going out. I don't know if you guys are brunch type of people or whatever.
No,
you have to do that.
not on
I'm
Mother's
not a
Day.
brunch on a holiday type of guy.
Yeah.
I'm now that, especially now that I have a grill, I am going to attempt to use the grill and cook something. Not a brisket. But yeah, I'm staying home for that one. I hope you guys have your plans at least starting to come to place here.
Does your wife view you on the grill as punishment or reward?
No, it's not that bad. I mean, it's bad, but it's not that bad. It's edible.
It's cheaper than going out, is what it is.
You might want to ask.
My most important thing is I don't want to kill anyone, right? I don't want to undercook the food to the point where I kill anyone.
Yeah.
So I have these nice meat thermometers that I use, and I make sure we're at least at the proper temperature so I don't kill anyone. Now, the food's been very overcooked every time. I mean, it just hasn't been great. But I think overcooked is better than undercooked. I just don't want to hurt anyone.
I that's a good place to start. Like, that's a good benchmark to say, like, as I'm a novice griller, first goal is not to kill anyone, and then we'll try to master it at some point after that.
I think chicken's the only thing you got to worry about. Everything else is fine.
Yeah, that's true. Like you're not going to kill anybody with undercooked beef. The worst thing is maybe throw it back on the grill if they think it's too undercooked.
Are you one of those, Donna? You're one of those people that like the meat has to be mooing, I assume, right?
Yes. Very much so. In fact, one of the problems that I have, like when I grill for myself, is finding that perfect balance where it's still mooing enough and I don't slightly overcook it. Like, I'm always fighting that, because if I go to like a nice steakhouse, they usually get it just the way I want it.
Which is what do you order? What do you order?
I order medium rare.
Okay.
You do? Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have a preference, Omar?
I'm a medium rare kind of guy. I'll go a little bit light. Yeah.
So I usually, like, when I go to a nice enough steakhouse, I will just say I will have it however the chef suggests it be prepared. That's usually the route that I take.
And that's usually medium rare.
They know the best way. Well, they know the best way to serve the steak.
Yeah.
So that's usually the route that I take, to be quite honest. Like, especially if I order something I'm not all that familiar with, I'll just, however the chef recommends.
Yeah.
They know what they're doing. You're a chef at a nice steakhouse, you probably know what's up, right? Like, the right way to serve the meat. So that's my ordering tactic. But anyway, yeah, Mother's Day coming up on Sunday, so please make sure if you haven't already. I'm scrambling here, so I'm basically at the point right now where I need gifts that ship in about 48 hours. So.
Or you actually can go to the store and buy one.
That's true.
Those things.
That's true.
Happen.
Yeah.
That's true. Jewelry always goes over well. You can get out to Beverly's Jewelers. I will tell you, those diamonds that they have over there, those have been very well received. The lab grown diamonds. I don't know if you've seen those, but those are very well received over there. So
I'm out of the diamond buying business.
I know you are at the moment, Omar. Maybe we'll get you back in soon enough, though, and I'll take you over and we'll see Jeff and we'll get you. We'll figure out something for you. But yeah, that's coming up on Sunday. So hopefully everyone has that taken care of. Donno, I know you're a big soccer fan, and we have the World Cup coming to town. We had Dave Hyde on early this morning. And just discussing. So Dave Hyde, I don't know if you saw this, Donno, had a thing that came out, a column that came out where he was talking about you could essentially go to these countries that have the World Cup, and you could travel there and spend a few days in that country for a third of the price of what it would cost to get a ticket to some of these matches here in Miami. Now, I know that you're a big soccer fan, Donno. Where does the World Cup rank for you on like the bucket list of events?
Pretty high. The personal issue that I have is I grew up, cheering for the Italian national team, and they apparently are out of the World Cup business. They keep not qualifying for the World Cups, but like people are trying to put them in because if Iran doesn't go because of the war,
wait, Italy is not in the World Cup?
They're not in the World Cup. So it's like,
wow.
if I'm going to pay, for the third, thank you, Dan, for reminding me that it's the third straight World Cup they haven't qualified for.
Italy
so
hasn't put a team in the World Cup in 12 years.
Nope, not in 12 years.
Come on.
It's embarrassing. And they've won all, they're
Don't they
one
have
of
a
the
big
world,
like a big pro league there?
Yes, they're one of the world leaders in World Cups won. They have 4 World Cup, which is
So
like
what's
tied
going
for
on
second.
over there?
Why
aren't they not getting in?
Bad organization from the youth up. It's hit a bad thing. So my point is, like, if I'm going to be paying this much for tickets, I'm not going to do that if the team that I love is not in the World Cup. So if Italy had gotten in, I would have made an effort, to try to go to a game or two, like in the group stage, which would have been out on the West Coast, but I would have made a trip out of it. But no, I'm not you're right. I could go to like England or to Argentina or somewhere that they're in the World Cup and pay a lot less and celebrate with the locals versus going to these games. It's insane. But yeah, the World Cup is a huge, huge event. And it kind of comes down to, are you a bigger fan of the national teams or are you a bigger fan of the club teams? Because like the Champions League obviously is a huge event, but that happens every year. The World Cup only happens every 4 years. You get the national pride in there. It's kind of like the Olympics. So yeah, the World Cup, like for soccer fans, if your team is in the World Cup final and you get to go to that, that's like forever bucket list type of stuff. It's huge.
Now I know the USA is they're playing out west, right? If I'm not mistaken, I think they're on the West Coast. They're not playing here unless I guess they advance. I know Miami has some of the what do you call it, knockout round? Am I right on that, Don? Do I have the right terminology?
Yeah, the knockout stages.
Yeah. So I know that hopefully USA plays here. Not that we'll be able to attend. I'm guessing the tickets will be astronomically expensive, but
Ghana and Haiti and Panama qualified. So did Egypt, but your team did not. Donna?
Well, yeah, but the thing there is though, you qualify based
Omar's
on the
got
continent.
this big smile.
No. But like I get it. If Italy was in the same qualifying stages with Ghana and Egypt, they would be in the World Cup. It's based on continent.
Sure?
I'm 100% sure.
Okay.
You qualify based
Don't
on
ask
the
him
continent.
if he's sure.
I'm
sure.
asking.
Because it's a lot harder to get through Europe qualification because that's the deepest continent with teams. So if Italy was in any other continent, they'd be in the World Cup.
So Sweden's better than you're saying? Yes.
Right now, unfortunately, yes.
Take shots.
But Sweden's also better than Ghana and Egypt.
Norway whooped your tail, right?
No, they got those gigantic Scandinavians. They're not human.
Bosnia, they got you.
Unfortunately,
I think
Italy did beat Bosnia head to head, but they choked in other matches.
I'm just saying, it's a little embarrassing.
The Bosnians are athletic.
Hezgonovia.
Can Italy get in? Like, are they still? Is there still a chance, or is it done?
All right. So if Iran, can't go, for things that are going on in the world right now, then there's like people that are pushing for Italy to get in, but I think technically FIFA would have to put in another team from like the Middle East or the Asian region, just based on the rules.
So Italy's not the last team out. Like they're not like last.
They are like they're the highest. They're the highest rated country that's not in terms of all the metrics of the points.
So they're
Joe
Lenardi's first team out.
Yes, exactly. If we're doing bracketology, Italy's the first team out. So there's it's not impossible that they get. If they get in, I'm going to be scalping tickets for some games.
So hold on. Did the co-hosts automatically get in? Wow.
Yes, that is true.
That's like cheating.
Right. So you had 3 spots taken up: USA, Canada, and Mexico. If not for those bums, Italy would be in.
Don't use the word cheating. No one ever can. No corruption around FIFA. No one would ever accuse them of that.
Never.
By the way, Donno, this was also very interesting. I saw FIFA called themselves a non-profit, which they said that they use the money that they get to grow the game.
They grow the salaries of their top executives.
Yeah, I was gonna say, man, like everything has gotten very expensive around that tournament. I know that people want to go, and maybe the tickets will drop off in price. I don't know what kind of demand there's going to be. We went over some of the matches that were here. It was like Saudi Arabia and someone, and Dave had the exact who they were playing, but like I don't know what the demand will become like game day for these matches.
Do we know who South Florida's host? What games?
Yeah, we already know. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's out there, Omar. You said Omar said he has tickets to one. You're going to one of them, aren't you?
Really?
Yeah, my brother has tickets that he wants the family to go to. So that's.
Is it Uruguay, Cape Verde? Because that would probably be the cheapest one.
Cape Verde.
You tell me Cape Verde's in and Italy can't get in?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Someone quickly point to Cape Verde on a map.
No.
I don't even know what continent Cape Verde is in.
Tunisia?
Yeah,
That's Africa.
I had never heard of Cape Verde until I saw them on our schedule for the World Cup.
Is that in Africa?
No.
Cabo Verde. Okay.
Cabo Verde?
Cabo Verde. Yeah.
Depends what language you're speaking.
Oh.
Qatar.
English.
We know Qatar.
English, Cape Verde. Cabo Verde. Espanol.
Well, yeah, this should be the lineup for the World Cup program that we should have on the station here.
Wait for 4 years from now when they play one game in Uruguay and then they make it part of the Mediterranean Sea where they'll split it between Spain, Casablanca, and like another place.
And it's just making up countries.
Casablanca's a place. It's actually.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's a city.
It's a city.
It's a movie.
You're a world traveler, Donald, so you know.
Morocco. Okay, so it's Morocco, it's Gibraltar, Spain, and somewhere else in the Mediterranean. And then they play one game in Uruguay because it's like the 100-year anniversary, and that's where it started. But they, it's just
isn't that Solana's team?
Yeah,
yeah.
Okay. They're going to all the games.
Maybe we should add Solana into this conversation. It'll be a real meeting of the minds here with the World Cup. All right, we're going to talk about stuff that's a little more in our wheelhouse. We got Omar with us. We got Donno with us. So we'll talk. We're going to talk to Ross Tucker about at 8 o'clock. We'll do some NFL headlines with him. There's a lot going on in the league right now. Omar, we're expecting a schedule drop at some point soon here. In the NFL, so that'll be
bigger than Diana Taurasi and
Rossini,
Diana Rossini and Mike.
I told you, man. I told you I'm feeling a little weird talking about it at this point because now it's like people have an axe to grind and the stories that are just like I don't know what we're gaining from these stories that continue to come out. Like, oh, they went on a boat while she was pregnant. Like, okay, great. Awesome. What are we gaining from these stories now?
It's fun because I do know Diana, and it's funny to watch how the national media is tiptoeing around this thing. How ESPN won't touch it.
Yeah, you don't say.
Yeah, so I don't. I'm not.
Your boy Florio's been on it from day one, though, and I give him credit because look, these stories clearly get clicks. People are interested. It's just starting to feel a little dirty. We'll continue. We got to take a pause. We'll continue the conversation. Omar Kelly is in with us. Alex Donno in with us. Dan Day. I'm Hollywood. We'll take a pause. 7 o'clock hour rolls on QAM after this.
I do want to tell you about a couple of guys I'm good friends.
Time to get up.
Wild Fork Meat and Seafood Market. At Wild Fork, get whole antibiotic-free chicken, $1.98 a pound, farm-raised salmon portions, $9.98, and Argentinian red shrimp, $4.50. Wild Fork, better meat, better value. Everyday staples, always top quality. Wild Fork Meat and Seafood Market. Coming soon to Homestead.
We've made it easy to find us. Listen to WQAM on FM 1043 or on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, or TuneIn apps.
Wow, that was so easy.
All of our shows are there live or on demand. Plus, there's the cool rewind feature where you can listen to any part of any show you might have missed. Anytime.
All right, welcome back in here on WQAM. Hope everyone's having a great Thursday morning. We're almost to the end of the week here, which means we are almost to our big event coming up on Friday night. We'll be over at Tabacone Cigars and Spirits, Plantation Walk, and we will have our Whiskey Stars and Cigars. Davion Mitchell will be out there from the Heat along with Bernie and the Heat Dancers. We'll get some scotch from Johnny Walker, cigar from Drew Estate. The event is free. Just show on up there, and as long as you're 21 or up, 6 o'clock tomorrow at Tabacone Cigars and Spirits Plantation Walk. It is presented by our friends at Edmore Sawgrass Auto Mall. 4 brands, 1 location, your local Cadillac, Buick, GMC, and Chevy dealer. As Donno, we got a lot going on here that I wanted to get to, and this story won't go away. And Adam Schefter just sent this out here. The Patriots quarterback Drake May said he doesn't believe Mike Vrabel's off-field issues will be a distraction for the defending AFC champions this upcoming season. I don't know about you, and I like a good tabloid story, so I don't want to come off as a total fraud here, but I am at the point where this story has reached weird territory for me. Like we're getting into this, like the boat thing now. I saw yesterday, and they said that they took Rossini and Vrabel took a boat ride together while I think she was pregnant. This thing continues to get weirder and weirder. I assume the kid belongs to who they say it belongs to, but right. She sent out that weird tweet about what Michael does this kid remind you of. There's a lot of weirdness going on with that story. And to be quite honest, like I think we kind of know what happened. And yes, they carried on an affair for a long time. It just seems to be getting weird as like this thing progresses, like people sitting on pictures, people sitting on these weird stories and doing digging. Like, I don't know where this stuff comes from. But it's getting a little weird, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. And it's becoming, the more stuff that comes out, it is starting to now really make people wonder about Vrabel's future, to the point where I saw the headline this morning, Hollywood, that, Kalshi, that does that market predictions, that they're now down to 64% that Mike Vrabel will be the opening day coach for the New England Patriots. So, I mean, I'm sure that their algorithm is a lot based on public sentiment, and it's influenced by the more and more pictures and headlines that come out. But it's like, you look at, wow, 64%, because I remember when this story first came out, and, this creates strong reactions and opinions from every angle. Like a bunch of people coming out saying, why should this cost Rossini her job and not Vrabel? Well, now it's looking like maybe it's not a guarantee that Vrabel still has his job once the season begins, if you go based on those market predictors. So
yeah, it's kind of a sad double standard. I'm with you. It is kind of a sad double standard. Yeah. She seems to have paid the price. Now, by the way, I would put it at 100% that he is going to start the season as the Patriots
I would
head
be
coach.
with you on that. I don't think this is going to get him fired.
Listen, the last time I checked, Robert Kraft was an 84-year-old man who was dating a 24-year-old and got caught up in it.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. His
that part I didn't know. I know about his massage parlor deal, especially.
And
the
massage
Belichick
parlor,
girlfriend wore the massage parlor shirt at a basketball game.
Absolutely.
I know about that. I'm well aware of that story.
I'm pretty sure that the NFL, like the harshest crime that Vrabel probably committed outside of adultery, allegedly, is that is that he was feeding Diana Rossini inside information, and then I'd say to you,
well, all the coaches are doing that.
Exactly. What all coaches and GMs are doing that. They just don't happen to be allegedly having an affair with the person that they're feeding the information to. Now, the fact that it was a seemingly allegedly 6-year affair, 6-year relationship, and
that affair is lasting longer than most marriages, allegedly.
lasting longer than NFL
you feel like they were actually cheating on each other with their spouses, not the other way around. Is how long that affair.
The part of the story that I find weird too, though, is like, is this really the first time that the spouses are finding out about this? Like, were they that sly that they were able to keep this up for 6 years? I don't think I could keep it up for 6 days without getting caught.
I couldn't keep it up for 6 minutes.
But technically, that's kind of what an affair is. It's, I guess, something you have behind your spouse's back.
I know what it is, Omar.
For that long, though?
But I have one means of communication, this phone. My wife knows the code. Now, she doesn't check it. But every so often she will take my phone and she'll go, I'm sending myself some pictures or whatever, right? And like, again, I don't have any, I'm not, carrying on an affair because, again, I'm not that crafty. Like, I don't have, I don't have that in me. I would get caught very, very quickly. But, like, I just don't know how you could do something for 6 years. It's essentially you're living another life. It's like a Tiger Woods type deal. You're living another life.
That's what people this is different because Tiger Woods was having experiences with people outside of his marriage. This was an affair. Emotions were involved.
This is like a committed monogamous affair.
Her child is named Michael. That to me is
that's where this thing gets really weird.
Heinous crime that could possibly have been committed. And we know she had interactions with him before the pregnancy. Ooh, it's a little troubling.
Yeah, of all the things that are bizarre about this story. So first of all, the way they got caught, they're just so out there. Like they're at a hotel.
They're in a public place. No, that's not fair. Because
if you're carrying on an affair and you're trying to not get caught, would you go to a hotel?
But you're
famous. Everyone knows who you are. Everyone knows. Like Mike Vrabel is a pretty recognizable coach. All right. Like, maybe Jeff Hafley. Like, if Jeff Hafley went out, there's probably most people couldn't pick him out of a lineup. But Mike Vrabel, like, he's a pretty recognizable dude.
I'm pretty sure that 50% of a sports fan base couldn't pick Mike Vrabel out of a lineup.
I don't think so, man. I think you're underestimating the sports fan. First of all, like I just coached at the Super Bowl. So like I do think people recognize Mike Vrabel. He's a recognizable guy, or maybe you recognize the girl. Either way, if you're going to carry on with something like this, I feel like a hotel is probably a bad spot to start.
I mean, one, we've got
the boat is a better idea. At least you get out on the open ocean.
But there's pictures
international
of that
waters. Anything goes.
I'm trying to talk myself through this. Like if we were to do this, how would we go about doing it?
I mean, there's nowhere you can have an affair if you're famous and not, I guess, be pictured. I mean, but literally, they're at a secret Arizona.
We was a secret.
No, but it was like an exclusive premium adults only resort. Like it wasn't like they were at the Hilton. Like they were at like a a secluded resort.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so that makes it better.
This is like a resort for cheaters, and they still get caught. But they're Vegas casinos together. They're
they're so brazen about it. Like, there's no way.
Imagine how many
no
pictures.
way the spouses are just finding out for the first time. There's no way. Like those pictures came out and they were like, "Have you been cheating on me?" No way.
The initial denial is what I have more of a problem.
The wife was still wearing the ring when they went out. They were out like in Salt Lake City, right? They went to Salt Lake for their one day of therapy, the third day of the draft. I don't know, man. My like if my wife found I was in a 6-year affair, first of all, I think she'd kill me. I don't even know that I'd live to see the next day. But like, and that's by the way, it's a killable offense. Like That's 6
Are you
years.
sure about that? Maybe in some countries. I don't think here.
And no human is worth spending jail time for. You're like, trust me.
But man, I can't believe that they were able to do that for that long, and just like remain anonymous. And obviously, people had stuff.
But hold on, wait
people
a minute.
had stuff on
does
them.
the length of the affair make it any worse? Like, what's
I
supposed
believe
to
it
just,
does.
hold on.
That's great.
What's supposed to was just multiple people. I would view multiple people as worse. At least emotions were involved in a 6-year affair. If you're just
Is that better though? If emotions are involved, that
it's
better.
worse.
No. If you have a roster of people that you're sleeping with,
Okay, Omar, turn it around. Your old lady's cheating on you. Would you rather her be like, "Oh, I'm just slinging it all over the place," or "I really like this other guy and I've really liked being with him besides you for the past 6 years"?
No, I would at least the emotions are involved, and it's not just, oh, I'm just a cheater, I'm just a narcissist, I sleep,
okay.
I need attention, and I want to sleep with random people like that. To me is worse. No offense, that, hey, you can pick your poison and what it is.
It's bad. Yeah, it's bad either way.
It's bad either way. If there are no
emotions
and you're just a narcissist and a sicko, that kind of makes it worse.
I think it makes it worse that I basically love someone more than you and like being with them more than you. That hurts.
I think I'm with Dan on this one. Like both very bad, but I think I'm with Dan.
I think they're all bad.
Like, I just have a problem. I'm an addict. I just run around and do this. Or, you know what? You're not good enough for me, but Mike Vrabel's man enough for me.
I gotta tell you, though, I am ready, like no other, to put this story to bed. Like,
Pardon the pun.
No pun intended. This story is getting it's getting weird. Like all this stuff keeps coming out, and I don't need any more like gruesome details. I know I think we can put the pieces together and see what went down. I don't need her to go on a podcast.
No. Somebody's got to get the.
Oh, I know. She will talk eventually.
Somebody.
Yep.
But here's the thing: why does it have to be her? Why can't it be the husband? And
I am sure that there are people that are banging down everyone's doors to try to get the first comment on this thing. By the way, I don't know which story is weirder, this or that JP Morgan story with that.
But that was all debunked, right?
No, it wasn't. You see, there was an update yesterday.
No, I didn't see the update. It's real.
Oh, apparently everything got refiled. There's witnesses.
What?
Man, I don't know.
Listen,
that you talk about weird stories. That's one that I don't even know where to start.
I just assumed the part when I read the original story.
Yeah, and they took the filing away and all that.
Yeah, but when I read the original story, like the part of his allegation where she referred to her chest as cannons, I'm like, no woman talks that way. Like, there's no way a woman really said that. The whole thing sounded fake.
It did sound fake, and then they refuted a lot of the information, and then brought in doubt about who this guy is and how he operates. And I got to see what this new filing is, and now these witnesses. That I'm sorry, and I hate to stereotype, but that like I'm with Donno. That whole situation and scenario sounds fake, especially when you take a look at the guy. It's not like he's some handsome.
You take a look at him, you take a look at her, and you're like, no, that's fake.
Yeah, pretty much, Donno. I'm sorry, I hate to judge based on appearances, but she doesn't look like she's having a problem getting anybody to in bed, and she's got to force this guy in bed even though he's got a wife. Oh, come on, let's be real about this.
All right, we're gonna be real, and we're gonna take a pause here. We'll clean things up. I promise we will. We'll clean this thing up, and we'll talk to Ross Tucker at 8:00 as we continue on here on QM and get to some NFL headlines when we come back.
Right now, I want to talk to you before we go to break.
Welcome back in here on QAM. We're going to talk to Ross Tucker in a handful of minutes here. Hollywood Donno along with you, Omar. Take a little breather here. He's in the penalty box after his last segment about the Vrabel stuff, Donno.
Oh, man, yeah, he took it a little far, didn't he?
Yeah, let's let him cool off just a bit. Cap for life, by the way, you are dead on, man. That's who that guy looks like. The guy from the banker story looks like Woody from Toy Story.
Yes.
A weird looking
He does.
dude. Very, very unusual looking dude. Speaking of unusual, Donno, maybe not unusual now because I think this is the second straight year load management has hit horse racing. Derby winner Golden Tempo has opted out of the Preakness.
I mean,
he will be back for the Belmont Stakes. So a little bit of load management here in the old horse racing.
Listen, I don't tend to understand what's going on with that horse, but Hollywood, doesn't this take away the most exciting thing about, Triple Crown season is having a horse that could possibly win the Triple Crown, and now you're immediately robbing us of even the possibility of that happening because the Kentucky Derby winner is not running in the next race? Like, this makes me less likely to watch the Preakness now, knowing that the horse that could win the Triple Crown now cannot.
Yeah. It's very disappointing, to be quite honest, because that is the exciting part of it, right? That's why you want, like, so it says the Preakness has had last year's race lowest viewership since 1995.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, if you don't have a horse at least going for the second leg of it, a lot of the casual fans are not going to watch. So I don't know, Donno. I don't know. This load management thing has hit horse racing here, and I don't know. Maybe you got to stay off the hoofs for a little bit, rest the hoofs, and he'll be back for the third deal here. So there you go. All right, we're gonna take one more quick pause, and we come back. Ross Tucker is going to be with us. We're gonna get to all the NFL headlines, a lot of stuff going on in the league, get his thoughts on the Dolphins draft class, and boy, all those Dolphins power rankings, Donno, they got them towards the bottom, to say the least here. We'll see where Ross Tucker has them. We will chat with him when we come back. The 8 o'clock hour is next on QIM.
It's the new year. Boy, I'll tell you.
on their team. Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
And Solana, South Florida sports lives here.
Powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys.
Call 1-800-747-FREE.
That's 1-800-747-3733.
All right, welcome back in here on WQAM. We're going to head out to the Toyota of Hollywood hotline right now, where we are joined by Ross Tucker. He's an NFL analyst for CBS Westwood One Sports. Ross, thank you for the time. Appreciate it. How you doing?
It is my pleasure. Thank you guys so much for having me. I'm doing awesome.
Absolutely. We got a lot to get to here. So much stuff going on in the old NFL, and I want to bring it down here to the Dolphins and get your thoughts on the Dolphins draft. And we know that Caden Proctor was their first pick. Reuben Bain was on the board. There was significant outrage down here in Miami on the day after the draft. Things have calmed down just a bit, but what were your thoughts on the Dolphins' first selection?
Well, I will say overall, I like the approach the Dolphins have taken. I am a believer in volume, and I think they got a bunch of good players, and just seeing some of the guys they got, and I'm sure we'll get into it, like Chris Johnson and Rodriguez. I mean, seems pretty clear to me that John Eric Sullivan knows what a football player looks like. And, he's really trying to replicate a lot of the things they did in Green Bay, including taking a bunch of receivers in the middle rounds and believing that at least a couple of them will stick. Proctor, in particular, I find that selection fascinating on multiple levels. The first one is, he went into this past season knowing that this would probably be his last college season and that he'd be eligible to enter the NFL draft after this season. And he started the year at 390. And so that really gets my antenna up, because if you know that you're, 5 months away from life-altering financial security, I would think that you would do everything and anything possible to be in the best shape you could possibly be in so that you have an incredible year and go top 20, top 10, whatever it might be. So that's one that I am really going to keep an eye on. I know these guys get paid in college now too, but man, I've seen guys with weight issues, and that can really be a problem. So that was one thing on Caden that I took note of. The other fascinating aspect of it is, at least for right now, and you guys or Omar or whoever have to tell me what the plan is long term, but playing him at guard is so interesting because, 2 picks later, Vega Ione from Penn State went to Baltimore. He's an awesome guard prospect, like an awesome guard prospect. So I guess it depends on what the long-term plans are with Caden Proctor. Certainly there's value in the versatility and the belief that he can play left tackle and right tackle, and Vega Ione does not, present that. But I do think it's unique, to say the least, that the Giants take Maui Noah at 10, and they're going to play him at right guard. The Dolphins take Proctor at 12 to play him at left guard when, you had a guy that everybody agreed was an awesome guard in Ione at 14. So you either like the versatility, or you like the upside, or you like the belief that eventually they will move out to tackle.
Ross, in terms of the remainder of the Dolphins draft, and you mentioned the volume approach, there's a lot of new Miami Dolphins that came out of this 2026 NFL draft. Who was the pick, or who were the picks that you'd be most excited about if you were a Dolphin fan? Guys that you thought, man, I can't believe he was still on the board. This is a good pick.
Well, it's probably their next 2 guys on defense, although I know a lot of people that really like Kyle Lewis as well, out of Pitt. But the thing I love about what the Dolphins did, in particular with Chris Johnson and Jacob Rodriguez, man, those guys are just football players. And, I know that's not exactly, earth-shattering analysis, but when you watch the tape of certain guys, and I have a lot of draft gurus come on my show, guys like Greg Cosell and Fran Duffy and others, and they come on the Raw Sucker Football podcast, their eyes would light up when they would talk about Chris Johnson and Jacob Rodriguez. They really felt like Chris Johnson would be a starter right away, and he just played like that kind of guy. So smart, kind of wise beyond his years. And that's absolutely the same thing with Jacob Rodriguez. I'm not going to compare him to Zach Thomas because I'm sure everybody's already done that. And also, I played against Zach a bunch, and he was just unbelievable. But there are some similarities in terms of how quickly those guys see things, how smart they are, how fast they trigger. The longer I do this, the more I feel like linebacker and safety, so much of it's above the neck, so much of it's, football intelligence, awareness, instincts, all those things. And when you watch Rodriguez, man, that's what you come away with. Is it just seemed like he was always one step ahead of the guys that were trying to block him.
Ross, you played in the league. You've covered it for quite a while now. Let me ask you about this perception that you can play, let's say, 8 rookies in your regular rotation or starting lineup. How much do you think that chips away at your ability to sort of push for a victory?
That's a terrific question. And what I will tell you is I think probably younger guys, especially, let's put it this way. There's a tremendous amount of value in giving young guys playing time. A lot of times, coaches are hesitant to do it because their jobs are on the line. And they feel like they need to win that year. And the reality is they don't trust young players.
Yep.
They don't want to go through their mistakes and let them learn on the job. That's kind of the value in the Dolphins' approach. I think the Dolphins said, okay, well, here's what we need to do. Let's get a bunch of picks. Let's get a bunch of players, and let's play them early and make or swim. And then these guys will become the core of our roster moving forward. If we take whatever it was, 12 or 13 guys, half of them hopefully show us they can play. And then we've got guys that can start and play and be productive, very inexpensive. And then you know what? They'll probably do the same thing next year. It's kind of like what the Cleveland Browns did last year and this year. And, the one thing I really respect about the Green Bay Packers, is that they've been good. They've been in the playoffs every year, yet they do the volume approach and they play their young guys early. I'm not surprised at all that the Dolphins took Chris Bell and Caleb Douglas in the 3rd round and Kevin Coleman in the 5th. You look at that Packers roster and the amount of mid-round wide receivers that they took, and tight ends for that matter, that ended up being good players and productive and, pretty much right away. And they're either still playing for them or they were able to trade them. I mean, Romeo Doubs got big money from the Patriots, and they were able to trade Dontavian Wicks to the Eagles for multiple picks. So that approach creates a lot of value for the franchise if you can hit on a decent amount of them. And so that's exactly what Hafley and John Eric Sullivan have brought, and they can play those guys this year without the weight or the expectations of, hey, we're ruining a chance to, make a playoff run or even make the play. I don't think many people realistically think that the Dolphins are a playoff contender. I certainly don't think that they are, but they have a great chance to give these young guys and Malik Willis a ton of playing time and get a ton of reps this year.
Speaking of Malik Willis, there's 6 games, a body of work, 6 starts. I've heard him sort of related to a young rookie quarterback that they're going to give the opportunity to show what he can do for the next 2 to 3 years. Where is your assessment of Malik Willis and his capabilities as an NFL starting quarterback?
Well, he's definitely not getting 2 or 3 years because that's just not the way the NFL works, especially for a veteran guy with his pedigree or lack thereof. He's getting, if things aren't going well, at most a year and a half, at most. And it depends on how well he plays. I mean, they signed him to a 2-year deal for a reason, but if it's disastrous this year, then they're getting somebody else for next year. If it's pretty good this year, but not great, then they'll probably still bring somebody in for next year, a young guy, but they'll give him the start of that next year. But if that doesn't go well, then they bring in the young guys. So I don't know that Malik has as much time as he thinks he does. The Packers obviously felt really good about him. For John Eric Sullivan and Hafley to say, that's our guy, they were around him, the last 2 years. So that speaks very well of Malik and what they think he can be, because he was their handpicked guy. There's a lot of other ways they could have gone. He's an unbelievable runner. He did some terrific things for the Packers. If you watch those games, though, and I had a bunch of guys, Kurt Warner mentioned this on the Ross Tucker Football Podcast, there's not a huge sample size of him having to make, clutch throws or big-time throws on 3rd downs to keep the chains moving. It was a lot of underneath stuff or a lot of quick game or him running or on the move. And that doesn't mean they can't do that in Miami, but, there's going to have to be over the course of the NFL season a number of games where he's throwing the ball more than 30 times. And a lot of those are, down the field, 3rd down situations, when he's facing pressure or they're disguising the coverage. And, credit, Matt LaFleur, they didn't put him in a lot of situations like that in Green Bay. He's going to have to be in more of those situations in Miami. And I think the jury is still out on some level as to just how well he'll perform in those situations.
Ross, before we let you run, I know a lot of people are out there looking for gifts right now. You got something great at myfrontpagestory.com. Tell us about it.
Yeah, my buddy started the company. You guys will love it, especially Omar as a writer. It's myfrontpagestory.com. My buddy's a former writer. Think about this, okay? You talk to a writer for 10 minutes while you're driving home from work, or you can fill out a quick email, tell them how amazing your mom is or how amazing your wife is. They write this unbelievable story. Looks like it's on the cover of the newspaper, framed, beautiful pictures of, your kids or you and your siblings, if it's for your mom. I've seen so many videos now when they give it to their mom, as she's opening it, or your wife, she won't know what it is. She'll think it's like a framed picture. To be able to say, I want to do something special, so I had a story written about you. It sounds like you commissioned Omar Kelly to write a story about your mom or your wife. It's incredible. They cry almost every time. It's like next gen stats, like a 90% cry rate. myfrontpagestory.com, myfrontpagestory.com. If there's a better Mother's Day gift, I'm not aware of it.
Ross, that sounds great. And I know people are looking for stuff right now for Mother's Day coming up. So thank you for the time. Appreciate it. And we'll talk to you again down the road.
Sounds great. See you guys. All
right. Ross Tucker with us here, CBS Westwood One Sports NFL analyst. By the way, nobody should be commissioning Omar to write such a story because, nobody needs to be ripped on.
Yeah, I'm going to skip
when
Omar.
they get
I'm going to right to my front page story.
Other things than rip people, folks. I feel like I'm not getting due credit here.
Just in, your wife, not a very good teammate per Omar Kelly.
I don't
know, skills lacking.
Why does every Tuesday have to be taco night? I'm kind of tired of the spaghetti.
On that note, we do have to take a pause here.
How about a steak every once in a while?
We have more to get to. The NBA playoffs, by the way, if you are watching right now, have been very, very exciting. That game between the Knicks and the Sixers last night was fantastic. If you have any Dolphins stuff you would like to get relayed over to Omar, we can certainly do that. You can send it on the YouTube chat or the text 305-567-0560.
Tomorrow, people.
Yep. Omar goes back to his real job tomorrow. Omar's back to his real job, so he's got to go to work tomorrow, and he's got to write, and hopefully it'll be nice. Maybe Omar learned something today. He's like, I'm going to be nice about everything that's going on over there. And then Donno's here as well. If you have any Canes-related stories or questions, you could get those to Donno as well. We'll continue on with the 8 o'clock hour after this here on WQAM.
Hey, Atlantic Men's
Meaning a $100 trade pays out $1,044 if they take the title. On Kalshi, you're trading against other people in a live market. No house, no odds makers. And as the odds move, you can buy in and out anytime throughout the postseason. For a limited time, download the Kalshi app and use code FAN to get $10 when you trade 10. Kalshi. Kalshi. Trade on anything.
Traffic on WQAM is sponsored by Lexus of Kendall and Lexus of West Kendall. Your home for the best price on luxury. Now featuring the all-new Lexus TX 3-row SUV in stock and on sale now. Call 305-KENDALL today.
Our county scene delays this morning. The traffic report is brought to you by the Casino at Dania Beach, Northwest 27th Avenue. You're slow to before mile marker 50. Also tapping those brakes in Miami-Dade on I-185 East from North Miami Avenue to Alton Road. That's traffic. I'm Aaliyah Escobar on FM 104.3, and you can listen to WQAM on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, and TuneIn app.
Cool ways to listen to us.
Okay, I'd like to hear them then.
On FM 104.3 or on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, or TuneIn apps. Same great shows, same great games. Plus, you can use the rewind feature and listen to anything you missed. Go for it.
I remember when I lost my mind. There was something so pleasant about that place.
Welcome back in here on WQAM. I'm Hollywood, Omar Kelly, Alex Donno, Dan Day with you this morning. Got a full house here, and we have our big event coming up on Friday. That is tomorrow, by the way. So tomorrow night, if you do not have plans, or if you do have plans, you should cancel them and come hang out with us. We will be at Tabacón Cigars and Spirits Plantation Walk. We will be there at 6 o'clock. Davion Mitchell from the Heat will be there. Bernie, the Heat Dancers. You get a nice Scotch whiskey from Johnny Walker, cigar from Drew Estate. Again, the event is free, so you can just come hang with us. You do have to be 21 and up. That's tomorrow, 6 o'clock at Tabacón Cigars and Spirits Plantation Walk. It is presented by Edmore's Sawgrass Auto Mall. 4 brands, 1 location, your local Cadillac, Buick, GMC, and Chevy dealer. My Chevy dealer, Omar's Chevy dealer. Everyone needs to go see Chris over there at Edmore's Chevy and get hooked up, because he's the best, and we'll have him out there at our event as well. So looking forward to seeing you, Chris, tomorrow night. Guys, we got a lot going on here in sports as I navigate through ESPN's coverage of wrestling. There is
what's going on in wrestling?
It's Roman Reigns is taking on. Now I'm drawing. I should know this.
I'm sorry I asked. Just keep getting to the
put me on the spot.
Stuff.
I thought you watched it, Donno.
No, every once in a blue moon, my son gets kind of into it, but then it makes him a little violent because he's got to try to act out every move he sees. So, it's kind of a sporadic thing for us.
I have noticed that, Donno, to be quite honest. Now, my son is really into it, and I have noticed that he is now trying wrestling moves on my younger son.
Not a good thing.
Yeah, like he broke out the Randy Orton like RKO the other day, and
I remember one year my brother DDT'd me, and I don't think I've been the same since. Yeah, wow. that DDT, no matter how you fake it, there's no faking it.
That explains your Dolphins coverage.
Omar's still suffering from the DDT. The
CTE from the DDT.
Also been shot in the foot with a BB gun. So yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, the older
shot
brother.
in the foot with a BB gun, like through your shoe, or like with shoe or no shoe?
Shoe. Still hurt.
Really?
Yeah.
Had to hide that from the mom.
What kind of BB gun was this?
Imagine like two weeks of limping around. And that limp had to really shorten when, because I'm sure I broke a bone. Now that hindsight is, sure I broke a bone in the toe, but you can't tell your mom your brother shot you in the foot.
No.
So it's Roman Reigns and Jacob Fatu. That is the championship matchup at Backlash in Tampa coming up on Saturday.
You're not driving up?
No, we have playoff baseball on Saturday. My son wanted to. He goes, "Can we drive up to go?" I said, no, you can watch it on on TV.
Your son's a little addicted to sports. Do you know that?
Yeah, he likes a lot of sports, and we're playing a lot of sports.
Does he understand what his dad does?
He comes to games with me, so I hope so.
No. Does he know like you're at the center of the conversation for sports on a daily basis?
I'm
Does
not at the
mom,
center.
turn
I'm
on
not at the
radio
center
on
of
the drive to
anything.
school? Huh?
I'm just along for the ride with Joe. I'm not the center of anything, but he did come to work with me the other day on Take Your Kid to Work Day. So
cool.
He was there for that. But
all right.
But yeah, I don't know about being the center of anything, Omar. I'm just here for the ride, man. Wherever the ride takes us. We are, by the way, hopeful to have. I spoke to Joe yesterday. He's doing all right, so hopefully we'll get him back in the coming days here on the show. As far as the NBA playoffs go, I don't know how much you guys have been watching, but that game last night, the Knicks and the Sixers, was incredibly intriguing. The Knicks go up 2-0 in that series. And I got to tell you, watching Jalen Brunson play has been a lot of fun, man. And I know, rooting for the Knicks is like blasphemy down here. And I don't want to say that I'm rooting for them, but Jalen Brunson, man, he is fun to watch. And he is a very easy player, Donno, to root for. I know you're an anti-Knicks as well, but that Knicks team is they've been fun to watch.
Is there any chance that Miami can replicate or emulate what they've done in terms of how they've progressively built that roster, the trade that for Julius Randle for Cat? Is there any way that we can envision, or do we have the pieces to build around? Because I mean, they got Brunson in free agency, and nobody thought he was a big star.
Yeah, Brunson, they hit a home run on Brunson, right? No question about that. The Heat, the only shot that they have right now is to land someone in the Giannis category, right? Like that's the way the Heat can turn this thing around quickly. The NBA, by the way, is a very tough.
To be a superstar.
Who? John Morant?
Yeah,
I love John Morant. I think I love John Morant coming out of college.
Universe, and then
but he can't get. But he's another guy that can't get out of his own way. He's got all sorts of problems. Like
that sounds like a guy that needs Pat Riley in his life.
But does Pat Riley want him in his life? I think is another question.
Yeah,
sometimes Riley shies away from those guys.
Are we over yet, though, Donno, about this whole like the Heat can turn the bad into the good? Like, I know that Heat culture thing is there, to an extent, and like I don't want another like rehab project. And John Morant just again cannot seem to get out of his own way.
What is your last rehab project?
I think Omar, big part of like Heat culture is not just the idea that you can take a troublemaker and rehabilitate that person. I think it's also
the last time we did that.
Well, that's my point. That's my point is you also need to seek out people who will fit in your culture.
Jimmy
the
Butler
people who are
going
to work hard and stay out of trouble.
Okay,
and to Hollywood's point about, the Heat returning to glory, like I think they have some good pieces on this roster. Some of them commodities to be trade chips, others players you can build around, but they don't have the main protagonist. And that's why you need to have a conversation like what Hollywood's having. You need to pull off a Giannis type of deal to put a legitimate superstar with some of the tertiary pieces that Spoelstra has on this roster, because there is potential, but the Heat don't really have the leading man that they need to take them
I'm
there.
sorry. If Giannis was going to become part of the Heat, he would already be here. I don't think he's a guy that's going to come to this market. I don't think his wife wants to come to this market. So I'm
what are you basing that on? Just out of curiosity. You know his wife? Have you spoken? I didn't even know he was married until just now.
Yeah, I didn't know either.
I
don't know where you're I don't know where you're getting this stuff from. And I'm going to call you on it because you said it out loud. Like I don't know where you're getting this from.
There's a reputation about South Florida.
He is married, by the way. I verified.
What reputation is that? Everyone wants to live down here. What reputation is that? I remember. You can't function down here because the nightclubs are open on Tuesdays.
No. That's not that one. That's not
a functioning.
That's not the one that wives are worried
out
about.
On. Okay.
That's not the one that coming to visit Miami is a lot different than living in Miami. Temptation.
Well, what do you think her
Island.
biggest problem would be? Like how big of a beachfront mansion they want? Like, is that really like that would probably be the biggest problem they'd have?
Sure.
Finding some availability on one of those exclusive islands.
I'm sure Savannah had nothing to do with LeBron leaving Miami either.
Well, I think LeBron's leaving Miami was very calculated. I think that he probably had that in his mind. I think LeBron had a plan the whole deal. Like he came down here, he won his championships, and he went back to Cleveland. And
You heard the
LeBron's,
cookie story.
For
You
LeBron's
know the
overall
cookie
image,
story.
I don't care about any story. I'm telling you, for LeBron's overall brand, going back to Cleveland and winning a championship was the best thing he could have done. It just was. He was never going to be embraced as a member of the Miami Heat. We loved him down here, but the national people, national media, and the fans, and they were never going to embrace him as a member of the super team down here. He goes back to Cleveland, wins a championship in his wasteland of a hometown. Like that's a great story.
That's a stray.
No, I'm just saying, like, it's true.
right,
like,
though.
all I hear about for 4 years is how Cleveland's economy, like, everything's closing because LeBron left, and you know, it's falling apart. He goes back and makes good, and then he leaves him again. But at least he won his championship over there.
They seem to be doing fine right now. So
Who, Cleveland?
Yeah.
Yeah, they stole a Super Bowl from Miami, so they're doing great now. But
We're getting a new stadium. Everybody gets the NFL Super Bowl support when you get a new stadium. Buffalo's going to have a Super Bowl soon. What are you talking about?
Can you imagine?
They're $2.1 billion stadium that they were wise enough to not put a roof on. Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
So you enjoy digging yourself out of and enjoy digging yourself into and out of a game. Buffalo.
This may seem weird, but I wouldn't mind going to Buffalo. Like, to try those bars over there, try some of those
That's
wings.
the thing. I would go for
I
like a short weekend to try like 3 wing bars.
I
and
am
just get the hell
forced
out.
to go, and trust me, you don't want to go.
No, not even just one pilgrimage to get some wings. Not even that.
Yes, they actually put a gun to Omar's head and say, you have to go to watch the Buffalo Bills play.
Sports grill wings are better. I
Really?
said it. There it is. Like,
I mean, I hope you're right because I love Sports Grill. It's just one of those things where I feel like I need to experience the original.
Anchor bar wings are a little too wet for me.
I've heard that those are not the best ones in Buffalo. Like that's what people say. That it's like kind of a tourist trap.
I have to ask Marcel what's the best wings place in Buffalo.
Okay, and then let me know because eventually I feel like Buffalo might be an affordable vacation I can take.
Yeah,
it's not.
Cheap,
and in fact,
flights
once they started winning with Josh Allen, and remember, I don't even pay for my hotels. It has become incredibly expensive to go to Buffalo to the point where I can only stay at the airport because that's all I can afford now. It's on game day, Buffalo. This is the one thing I will say about Buffalo. I give these people props. I think nothing outside of Green Bay compares to it. Where on game day, on Sunday, home or away, everybody in the city is wearing Buffalo gear. You can't go to McDonald's without seeing the people in McDonald's wearing Buffalo gear. They're not wearing McDonald's gear. They're wearing Buffalo Bills gear. Like you could go to Walmart. They're not wearing Walmart gear. They're wearing Buffalo Bills gear. You're going to see Buffalo Bills gear everywhere. Whereas imagine that if you're a Dolphins fan, you're in the city and on game day, all you see anywhere you go, any store, any restaurant is Buffalo Bills gear.
I would love that. Oh, you mean like I would love to see everybody in Dolphins gear is what I would want to see.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, everybody in Dolphins gear.
Yeah,
that's the one thing I will give them.
You gotta win, though, man. You gotta win. You gotta win. Fans want to win. You know, I think people start to come around on the Dolphins. Look what happened with the Hurricanes this year.
Yeah.
Look at the incredible buzz around the Miami Hurricanes. Look at what happened with the Panthers. When the Panthers started winning, those stores like, Caneswear up in Davie, like those stores couldn't keep Panthers gear in stock. Yeah. People were going bonkers over that thing. You got to win. You have to win. Like that's the problem. The Dolphins don't win. And to add to that, Omar, and you know this, you've sat through all their games. They're not a very entertaining product. And I hope that all this is about to change.
Don't be a liar. Last
year.
2023. They were the
that was entertaining. When they were scoring 70 points, that was fun.
Let's not.
It's 2026, Omar.
What'd you say?
I mean, it's 2026, man. I don't want to go back 3 years to the last time they played an entertaining football game.
The Dolphins had one of the most entertaining offenses and teams in the NFL. Stop.
That's a long time ago, man.
They also did it against really bad teams.
Let's not put those qualifiers in there. They had the number one offense in the NFL. Did you?
70 points is 70 points. That was fun.
Would you say the Dolphins product that they put on the field last year was difficult to watch?
Yes. It was difficult to watch for a multitude of reasons,
Okay.
and and that's why everybody lost their job. I mean, but what team is going to lose their all-pro wide receiver and then just carry on like nothing mattered, like everything's good? Like name the team, name that team.
I know they lost some players, but they were still.
They didn't lose some players. They lost Tyreek Hill.
Okay. They lost Tyreek Hill again. He's gone. So now they have to figure something else out. So we'll take a pause. We'll see. Well, maybe we can figure something out here, Omar, how the Dolphins get the fans back. But yeah, I just think they have to win. You want people to gravitate towards your program. The Hurricanes figured out how to do it by winning, right? That's how you do it. We're going to take a pause. 9:00 hour is coming up around the corner here on QAM. We got Donno with us. We got Omar Kelly with us. I'm Hollywood Dan Day here as well. Take a pause. More to come on QAM.
Loctite Impact
main lanes. That's traffic coming to your school right on FM 104.3. And you can listen to WQAM on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, and TuneIn app.
Your favorite shows, the games of your favorite South Florida teams. We've got them
right here on the Q, baby.
Catch us on FM 104.3 or listen to WQAM on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, or TuneIn apps. Don't miss a thing.
All right, welcome back in here on WQAM. Omar, can we discuss the conversation we were just having during the break?
Sure.
I don't know how this ended up going down this road, but you, me, and Perk, Donno, you're an Orlando guy, so you'll appreciate this. We're basically discussing which place is worse, Buffalo or Orlando.
I mean, Orlando's great. What are you talking about?
Orlando's great if you like the parks, no question.
Sure.
If you're into that kind of thing. Now, I think Omar is a recent first-time Disney guy, and it sounds like from at least, and I didn't even talk to you about your trip, Omar. I know you were going, but I'm guessing from what it sounds like here from this initial conversation that Disney kind of chewed you up and spit you out here a little bit. Is that basically what went down?
I don't think there should be a park in the world that costs $180 to go inside. I'm sorry. Yeah. You're not feeding me. You're not handing me a beverage at every turn.
Like it should be all inclusive. It should be.
Yeah, $180 to see some stuffed puppets. Like wow. and the restaurant in Buffalo is Duff's that has the best wings, and I agree. I've had both Duff's and
sounds like you should have taken advantage of the Florida resident discount over there.
I did take advantage of the Florida resident discount.
180 sounds high, bro. I don't know.
I get the annual
over a holiday
pass.
or something.
It's like,
what's the annual pass run you?
It got expensive at Disney.
It's I don't know. It's got to be like I don't know Hollywood was in like the $2,000 range, but if you
pass.
No.
Not that more like 1,000. I'm not even sure. I don't know.
But it did get it got pretty bad. I think it was like I want to say $500-600 for the Florida resident one. With
I don't even know how much I pay to be honest. I know if you go often enough, you get your money's worth after a while.
Yeah, you got to go like at least 3 or 4 times. You got to go at least 3 or 4 times. So we're going to Universal over the summer. I haven't done Universal since I was in college.
Are they charging you $182?
They're a little cheaper.
I mean, it's not cheap.
What's a little?
It's not
like $30 less, maybe.
It's not like going to the fair or something, but
yeah, man. They kind of youth fair kicks the tail of Disney. Sorry,
I like the youth fair. I do. I happen to love fair food, by the way. I think the food at those places is fantastic. I love all that stuff.
And
Disney
fried,
everything.
Elephant ears.
Elephant ears are good.
Yeah,
I'll never turn down an elephant ear. But let's see. The guy says Disney's been raising. Sammy here on our chat. Disney's been raising their prices often. It's gotten outrageous. Wait, I'm agreeing with Omar. Yep, someone finally agreeing with Omar. There you go.
I'm just. It blows my mind how expensive it is. And
did you have fun though? Because that's all that really matters at the end of the day.
My daughter had
what's
fun,
money? What is money really?
My daughter had fun. However, I would say we got on maybe 5 rides just because if the wait was longer than
did you do the lightning lanes, which is an extra charge? By the way,
yeah, of course. I'm not paying $30 extra for lightning lanes.
You would have gotten on more rides.
Come on, Omar.
Yeah, it would have cost me like $400 to be in Disney for the day. Parking is $40. Come on, man.
Well, see, with the annual pass, it's free.
With the annual pass. Okay, so if I put down $2,000 for the year, I get.
You know what, man? You didn't call me beforehand. I would have given you some travel hacks and helped you save some coin while you were there. But didn't you say you had some place to stay? You didn't even have to pay the hotel. Listen, I don't like all this. There's a lot of complaining. I don't like this, Omar. You know where you should vacation in Buffalo next time.
Yeah,
and you can go. You be very cheap, whatever it is you decide.
You know what I annually say for my trip to Buffalo? I get a pedicure in Buffalo. That's the highlight.
Do you?
Of my Buffalo trip?
Wow.
Yeah, always.
I need to get a pedicure at some point. And
you do.
I have like alligator feet, man. I do. I was thinking about this the other day, actually.
Yeah, you should go for Mother's Day to get yourself a pedicure for your wife as a gift. Because you're probably cutting her up at night.
Great. I think Donno's got to take off here pretty soon. So, Alex, if you
Yeah.
don't mind, your podcast covers the Hurricanes, Locked On Canes podcast. It's the best place to go for Canes info. If you can maybe plug that for us, let people know where they can find you, maybe what's coming up.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, you can check me out, Locked On Canes on YouTube or all the audio podcasts, Spotify, Apple. And so one of the big things we're going to be talking about today is, so Miami's coaching staff is officially now complete for the upcoming season because they had a vacancy at cornerbacks coach. They decided to fill that from within. They promoted Terry Jefferson, who was an assistant DB coach last year, but he worked with Keontae Scott and the nickel corners, and Keontae Scott not only had an incredible season, but by far his best season after transferring in from Auburn. So I think Terry Jefferson did a great job, and he's now the co-DBs coach with Will Harris, and he's focusing on the cornerbacks. So we'll be talking about that and some recruiting news as well. Locked On Canes on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you get your pods. We'll see you there later today.
And this will be up there today, you said, Donno.
Yeah,
Later
11:30
today?
a.m. It's coming out. Yeah.
All right. Well, I know what I'll be doing this afternoon. I got to get up to date on everything going on with our football team in Coral Gables.
When's the Canes' big big football camp?
Yeah, so it usually starts like around August 1st, 2nd, something like that. They haven't finalized the date, but it's usually
I'm talking about for the recruits, not training camp.
Oh, for the recruit. Well, okay, so the official visits are starting later this month. In fact, 5-star offensive tackle Mark Matthews out of St. Thomas Aquinas, he's got his official visit is going to be May 29th. So we're like 3 weeks away from official visit season, end of May through most of June. And then, a lot of the big commitments, they start popping off. I mean, we've already had some guys that we've landed, but a lot of them start picking their schools in June and July or like big times for commitments.
I know there's usually a camp that they
Oh yeah, the Legends camp. Yeah, that's usually, I want to say that's usually in June. So yeah, and I'll probably go to that. I go to that. It's a good event. I go to that every year. I'm not sure if they've announced the date for. They might have, and it might be because I don't write anything down, Omar. It's just all swirling around in that tiny brain of mine. But yeah, it's usually in June.
Well, Donno, we will check you out today on the Locked On Canes podcast, and thank you for hanging with us this week. And we will talk to you soon, my friend. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
All right, Alex Donno from the Locked On Canes podcast. Make sure to give that a listen today. Also, want to direct you to the website here, WQAM.com. Larry Bluestein had some big interviews last night. That if you want to check those out as well, some point today. He had Brian Hartline on. He also had Pitt coach Pat Narduzzi, who talked about Dolphins linebacker Kyle Lewis there. So some stuff from Blue last night on WQAM.com. You make sure you can get over there and check that out. And Omar, speaking of checking things out, you got a new column coming out here about the Miami Dolphins, with rookie camp getting set to begin tomorrow in Miami Gardens. Omar's back to work, back to his real job tomorrow. So Omar's got a column up on the Miami Herald. Questions we hope Dolphins rookie camp answers. Find out what that is when we come back here. The 9 o'clock hours next on QAM.
Hey, right now I want to tell you about something else.
Odyssey Sports Station. The home of champions. Home of the 5-time national champion Miami Hurricanes. The back-to-back Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers. The 3-time NBA champion Miami Heat. Miami Hurricanes basketball. And now, the new home of the 2-time World Series winner Miami Marlins.
Powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys.
Call 1-800-747-FREE.
That's 1-800-747-3733.
In Miami, we go to the beach for a little solcito, and when we want a low price, we know you paid less with your Pricito de Mayo at Doral Hyundai. The Marlins look to end a 4-game skid against the Orioles tonight at 6:40. Max Meyer going to get the start. Hurricanes baseball team open up a 3-game series against Louisville tonight at 7 o'clock. If you're looking for some NBA action, at 7 it's Cavs Pistons, 9:30 Lakers Thunder. NHL action, 1 game tonight, as at 8 o'clock you get the Philadelphia Flyers and the Carolina Hurricanes. For the first time ever, Dolphins are selling tickets to individual games before the schedule has been released. And the Patriots quarterback Drake May, he has backed head coach Mike Vrabel, saying he is a great human following rumors of an extramarital affair. Weather report brought to you by Tornado Roofing and Contracting. Help keep your home and family safe when the storm rolls in. Visit tornadoroofing.com for your free roof and window estimate. Temperatures in the mid-80s today and no chance of rain really till Monday. I am Dan Day. Now back to the Joe Rose Show here on 104.3 FM WQAM.
Speaking of great humans, thank you, Dan Day, for the update there. Hollywood, Omar Kelly, Dan Day along here with you. Thank you to Alex Donno for hanging with us. Great human, huh?
Just the facts.
Yeah.
Just reporting the facts.
Just the facts. All right, Omar, speaking of the facts, we got Dolphins rookie. I don't even know how to get past that. Dolphins rookie camp coming up tomorrow.
Yeah.
In Miami Gardens at Hard Rock Stadium at the Baptist Health Training Facility. All right, Omar, you have a column up now from the for the Miami Herald. Questions we hope the Dolphins rookie minicamp will answer. Where do we start with that one, Omar? What do you got for us?
Pretty much. I mean, here's the thing. Let me set the scene for people. Rookie camp is basically about getting the rookies indoctrinated into the team. Remember that most of them, this is the first time they're going to be at the facility. They don't even know how to find their way to their hotels. So this is basically breaking them in before they come into OTA camps. It's just rookies and training and invites, rookie undrafted players that have signed contracts and then undrafted players that are being tried out for workouts. The Dolphins actually cut 6 or 7 people, creating vacancies. So if you impress, and a lot of times they do sign players from these rookie camps.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I'm not necessarily certain how much the draftees will be participated in the 11-on-11 portions of practice. They get taught the basics of plays. They get handed their playbook, which is on an iPad now. For those who don't know, that playbooks aren't actually playbooks. They get taught how to use the system to review film. They get and shown the training table. They get measured for their equipment, their shoes. And they do orientation stuff there. So that's what rookie camp is really about. And it's a 3-day process, but they will be taking to the field and they will actually be talking to the media. For me, I think this process begins with figuring out how many Dolphins rookies are going to be starters, or at least start more than half the season. Mm-hmm. To me, if 5 aren't rookie starters and start half the season, this draft has been a disappointment, just because you have so many glaring openings. For starters, Caden Proctor, he's got to be in the starting lineup at one of the 5 spots. And that factors in injuries. You're always going to lose at least 2 offensive linemen for good portions of the season. So no matter what, Caden Proctor should be a starter, whether it's going to be at left guard, the place that he's going to start out, left tackle, where he's probably going to serve as Patrick Paul's top backup, or right tackle, where he might have to replace Austin Jackson if he gets injured. He's got to be somewhere on the offensive line. Then you got Chris Johnson, who is their other first-round pick. Jeff Hafley has talked about him playing nickel. And it makes so much sense when you factor in that nobody on this team has experience or the history of playing nickel well. Jason Marshall Jr. started the year as nickel early last season, and he was kind of a disaster there. He struggled. He's clearly going to be worked as a boundary corner. So that job is wide open for Chris Johnson to own that nickel spot. Then they've also got Kyle Lewis, who is a Pittsburgh linebacker who's going to be sort of a linebacker safety hybrid. He's going to be competing for the nickel spot as well. They call it the big nickel spot. Michael Taft, another safety that they drafted from the University of Texas. That safety spot is wide open. You've got Dante Trader, last year's 5th-round pick, and then a free agent that they added, Lonnie Johnson Jr., a former 2nd-round pick for the Houston Texans, who's basically bounced around the league for the last couple of years and is basically established himself as a career special teamer. But he's going to get one try to basically emerge as an NFL starter. Michael Taft, the Texas kid, a little bit undersized. He's one of the guys I'm dying to see in person because I have my doubts about a 5'11", 190-pound safety, but we'll see how it pans out for them. And then Jacob Rodriguez, the linebacker from Texas Tech, the supposedly next Zach Thomas. I never feel comfortable when people compare other players to legends, but Zach Thomas actually said that Jacob Rodriguez is better than him at this stage. So it'll be interesting to see. Jacob Rodriguez was indeed one of my favorite players, but I will tell you, it's not going to be easy for him to unseat Terrell Dotson for that inside linebacker green dot role. For most fans, do understand while Jordan Brooks led the NFL in tackles last season, Jordan Brooks is a weak side linebacker. And not only is he a weak side linebacker, which means kind of the coverage specialist, but he's also a player that does not feel comfortable wearing the green dot. He's been on record as saying, I don't feel comfortable. I just want to focus on my job and think about what I have to do. I can't worry about the entire defense. So that's where Terrell Dotson steps up and plays a very prominent role for this team. And Jacob Rodriguez, it's not going to be easy for him to unseat Terrell Dotson, but it's definitely out there in the open. So those are the guys, obviously, in a receiver. I look at Kevin Coleman Jr., the slot receiver, is probably the guy favored by me to become an immediate starter because he's not trying to play a complicated position. He's playing slot, which is a position that he's played his entire life and a position that he's played at 4 different colleges. So he clearly knows how to learn an offense. And realistically, he's competing against Malik Willis. And I can't tell you, Malik Willis was a pretty impressive punt returner, but I can't tell you the impressive plays he's made as a wide receiver.
So the wide receiver position's interesting. Obviously, no more Waddle. How do you see that depth chart shaking out here? Like when we get into training camp, what will the Dolphins' wide receiver position look like?
For me, I look at it as Chris Bell, the 3rd-round pick that they selected, the second of the 2 wide receivers they selected in the 3rd round. I think that he is going to spend most of training camp on the PUP because he's right now 5 months into an ACL repair. And those usually take about 9 months. I know people will say, well, Patrick Mahomes is participating in his OTAs and mini camp. Well, Patrick Mahomes is a quarterback who basically has to drop back for 5 to 7 steps and then throw a ball. A wide receiver who's running routes and cutting, it's a completely different ball game. So I see Chris Bell starting the year on the PUP and probably being available to the team at midseason point. But right now, I view Tutu Atwell as a starter for this team. They've got Jalen Tolbert, who they picked up from Dallas, kind of 2 minimum salary guys. Those 2 and Malik Willis, I view them as the front runners because they're probably going to know the offense a little bit more than the rookies. But then Caleb Douglas is going to have every opportunity to unseat one of those 3 veterans for the flanker or the split end position. And Caleb Douglas was one of the more controversial draft picks that the Dolphins had. But once you go over his film, you see why the Dolphins stacked him very high on their board and picked him over a lot of receivers that people projected to be pretty good NFL starters.
Well, I know you'll have some good stuff for us in the Herald coming up this weekend after these rookies, and then I know we get into OTAs and mini camps, and we'll get guys finally on the field. Humble and kind here, a guy who texted us on our YouTube chat, made a comment here, Omar, that I want to run this by you when we come back here. He's basically asking if negativity sells here in the newspaper. I want to ask this to you when we come back, because you've dealt with the good side, you've dealt with the bad. So I want to get the facts on that, and we can kind of square that away. We'll hear from, if you missed it earlier, Ross Tucker was on with us. We'll get his thoughts on the Dolphins draft class as well. But Omar, I want to get your take on this when we come back here on QIM.
Right now, though, I want to tell you about Atlantic Men's Clinic, ED.
WQAM on FM 104.3 or on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, or TuneIn apps.
Wow, that was so easy.
All of our shows are there live or on demand. Plus, there's the cool rewind feature where you can listen to any part of any show you might have missed. Anytime.
Chill, right on the side is the eagle becomes a funky child with some more than my tongue.
Welcome back in here on WQAM. Hollywood, Omar Kelly, Dan Day along here with you. Omar, I got to ask you this here. All right.
Yes, sir.
So someone on our YouTube chat here this morning said 0-17, they sell more newspapers. Talking about the Miami Dolphins. Now, I will tell you from my personal experience in this business that, yes, negativity sells. I get that. I completely get that. But there's negativity and there's downright bad. And then you get apathy, right? That the last thing you want is for the team to be that bad where people don't care. That would be the disaster scenario. The ideal scenario for our business, and I'm guessing for your business, Omar, is that the Dolphins went 17-0 and we're playing in the Super Bowl. Like, that would probably be the optimal situation, because I think we have seen with all of our teams that when they are good and they are relevant, the numbers go up. Now, I get, like, in a business like sports radio, yes, on a post-game show, and Dan Day goes in to do the post-game show and the Dolphins get whooped in the opener and Tua looks like crap and all that stuff, yeah, you're going to get the phone lines are going to light up. It makes Dan Day's show a little bit easier.
Going to listen?
Nobody calls when they win. Nobody calls in when the team wins. But if the team was really good, yeah, I think you'd get a good buzz and people would be like, yeah, I want to learn. I want to hear about this team. I want to read about this team. To me, that would sell better than an 0-17, which would be a disaster.
The biggest fear in our industry and the biggest fear that the Dolphins have is apathy, fans checking out. And I think that that's what they were experiencing last year. I have close friends who basically were like, yeah, I think it was game number 3. They were like, I'm out on this season. I'm not watching anymore. And it was more than one. And I'm talking hardcore fans. People who actually make money. Poupart is one of those guys where, and I am as well, where our money is predicated on clicks and downloads and listens, just like QAMs. And it's factually proven that more people tune in, check, listen, download, read when the Dolphins are winners. Nobody is checking in when the Dolphins are losers. And in fact, your traffic goes down after a loss because people don't want to relive that. They don't want to dissect it. They don't want to hear about it. They just want to turn the page. So I know from Dan Day's perspective, yeah, he's got more callers because more people want to get things off his chest after they lose a horrific game. But the majority of the fan base, at least the numbers prove this, check out after a loss because they don't want to relive it. They don't want to recreate it. They don't want to rediscuss it. There are those who want to get something off their chest, which is what sports talk radio is for, what podcasts are for. But yeah, no. Our industry does so much better when they're winning. I think the height of what the Dolphins have done the last 22 years. I mean, 2 years was the 2023 team.
And I'm guessing your numbers were through the roof that year.
Yeah. Numbers were through the roof. Podcast numbers were through the roof. Clicks were through the roof. That's because they were winning. That's because they were hot. Nobody cared about last year's team. Nobody.
Fish out of water said they hang up on callers because they think they're going to curse on the air, and Dan Day's post-game show is therapy. Now, here's the other thing. I have done plenty of post-game shows. I used to do the Canes. Before I did Canes pregame, I did postgame for many years here. It can get messy. It can get messy. Yeah, it is. It should be a rite of passage in this world. But it can get messy, man, because you got people that have been, they enjoy a few drinks during the game. They get in the car and they think, all right, I'm going to just call in and get it off my chest. That's great.
Because they got a unique take that nobody's ever heard before.
Unfortunately, we do have we have rules about cursing and, we don't want anyone to get offended or anything like that. And, we got to keep the license for the station going. Apparently that's important. So,
podcasts too. Podcasts, you have rules as well. You can't just
really. I figured that was just a no rules free for all.
YouTube, if you want to monetize, you cannot curse. So
get out of here.
I'm telling you the truth. If you want to
Really?
monetize off that episode, you can't curse. Sorry. You want your
Oh,
money? No
I
curse
didn't know
word.
that. I
Yeah.
did not know that. All right. Well, that's good to know. Someone said listening to Mike McDaniel after a loss was painful. Yeah. Last season sucked. It was one of those seasons that you just wanted to end. And when you start talking about the draft in the first few weeks of the season, that's when you know things are bad. Right? I mean, you just you don't want to have draft talk until off season, ideally. But
Especially in a
draft
year
talk
where there's no
last year
good
started
quarterbacks.
so early, man. It
Yeah.
started so early. But yeah, I think everybody that we speak to, everyone that does this, everybody wants to win. I just know that people have a lot of differing opinions on how to get there, right? And people have players they like, they dislike, they strongly dislike. And that's where things get a little bit messy and the arguments start to occur. But I do think, Omar, that everyone who listens to this show, everyone that reads your paper, they want the team to do well.
Yeah.
Just everyone's got a different idea of how to do that. And unfortunately, no one has been able to figure it out in 20-something years.
Oh, it's very simple. Actually, just have a top 10 quarterback in the league and you give yourself a chance.
Okay. That's the solution.
Everybody in the NFL has figured
Just have
that out.
Mahomes. Okay, just get Patrick Mahomes, and that's the solution. Fair enough. Well, you solved it. You solved all our problems.
You could
here.
have got
One
Lamar
more
Jackson
number.
a couple of years ago, and you just said, nah, we're good. Just like every other NFL team. So, I don't want to hear excuses. I just want to hear productivity.
Well, we have Malik Willis now, Omar. We have the savior, Malik Willis. He's come in to save the Dolphins franchise. Don't roll your eyes at me.
I didn't roll my eyes.
You did.
Look at these eyes, wide open. I didn't roll them.
You did when I said it.
I'm not going. You're not going to hear me say a negative word about Malik Willis, except for the fact that the body of work is not very good, not very extensive. It's 6 games, and just like Ross Tucker said, and it's very true. You don't see him making you see him making big plays, but there are crucial moments in games where your quarterback is required to make those big boy passes to convert on third downs or to get the team in the red zone or turn a red zone opportunity from a field goal to a touchdown. And those were throws that are very limited on Malik Willis's resume, and he will be put in those situations probably 70 times a season. And you hope that he delivers at least 40% of those. If he does, you give yourself a chance. You give your team a chance. But if he doesn't, he's just right on the pile of Ryan Tannehills and Chad Henneys and Matt Moores.
It's a long list, man. We know. We know. Where can everyone know? Speaking of Ross Tucker, we're going to hear from him coming up here, Omar. But where can people find all of your work this weekend? Where would you like to direct people to so that they can follow along with everything going on with the Dolphins in Miami Gardens?
Absolutely. You can find me on the Miami Herald. I've got a column up right now, which gets into the 10 questions and even the backup quarterback. Did you know that the guys competing for the backup quarterback have like a 4-year rivalry against one another? Mark Gronkowski and Cam Miller, they have been competing for FCS. They've won 4 of the last 5 FCS championships. And they have been going to war with each other their entire college career. And now they're on the same team competing for the number 3 quarterback spot. So that's one of those situations where I'm quite intrigued.
Well, I didn't know that, and now we're gonna go. I'm gonna go read your column in the Herald, and very important, by the way. Support the local journalism out there, man. Go subscribe to the Herald and go subscribe to the Sun Sentinel. All of our friends work over there, so please go support the local papers and enjoy the coverage of rookie minicamp. We are going to talk to Ross Tucker when we come back, get his take on this Dolphins rookie class, their draft class, and his thoughts on Malik Willis as well. We'll continue on QAM.
Right now, though, I got to tell